All right. Potatoes and chicken.
Keep an eye out for the end times.
Tariffs.
Big effect. Not good. The fleet. Illegal images.
Let's do this. Some days it's better than others to be fucking Scottish. I'm just telling you. Good to see you this afternoon. I'm getting my energy up for this one because I'm having to take drastic measures to not just like pop a stitch over some of the abject stupidity and gross behavior of the current administration and everyone involved in it. You know how it is. You understand. Let's just start with, I'll give you right out of the gate. Let's just cut to the chase. The Trump administration released a White House app basically to circumvent real news. A little propaganda window you can carry in your purse, your pocketbook, your back pocket, somewhere, it could sterilize your nuts. Be part of the increasing problem of people on their phones. Way to find a solution, guys. Also, I would like you to listen to the tenor and the concept behind the app and how it turns war into a marketing scheme.
There's been a lot of launches lately.
See, what's the thing is a lot of you been hearing that word.
Relax. This one's an app.
Holy shit.
Track the latest news, live streams, and everything White House, including...
I love the clapping in the back. Bombs are falling in the Middle East, and we're gonna hit your kid's school. And what the fuck? It's like it like downshifts from war into just like corporate slop instantly.
The kind everyone's talking about.
Hey! And then there's the little drawing of the thing. I think that hey is a sample of audio taken from a video on Kash Patel's phone that was, of course, hacked by the Iranians. I don't know if you heard that already, but I'm afraid of what they'll post. Not because they'll show that he's been criming. I think we can count on that to some degree, or doing some awful, but I just don't want to see the nudes pop up. I don't want to do it. I got enough. I have enough of this bullshit, as do you. Speaking of enough of this bullshit, here's Trump on the tarmac talking to the fake news about how Iran and we are talking. This is an hour ago. They posted this. Full gaggle. Full gaggle. Look at it. It says, bow. All of it. Not the censored bit where people cut the 3 minutes and 42 seconds down. No, this is the full gaggle. Look, I am counting my blessings that this horseshit is mercifully short. Okay? Jesus Christ. 3 minutes and 42 seconds, and it includes the walk. Oh, and also, is this available on here now? Oh, look at this. Look at this glorious new thing that's been added to YouTube. Took them long enough. Oh my God. Voice boost. This is not an ad. Voice boost. When you're in a situation like that, boink. It's going to boost the volume so we can hopefully cut down on engine noise. I'm sure it'll. Well, until he starts talking, you're not going to. Don't fall down, don't fall down. Don't fall down, don't fall down. Don't fall down. Boom. Salute myself for not falling down the stairs.
Dumb, 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 dumb. Dumb, dumb, stupid. Dumb, silly, stupid, dumb, dumb.
Mr. President. I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulty. We don't. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't think he knows. I think he whatever. So Tiger Woods was harmed. Is this what we're to find out? Putts and slayers to his. Does anybody know? I mean, it's golf. How bad can it be on the green? Hopefully it wasn't a car accident.
What's your reaction to what happened in the House? The TSA funding is stalled.
Well, you know, the Democrats want to let illegals come into the country, criminals, murderers, every kind of criminal you can imagine. And
every kind? I don't know. We seem to be really rough on those crypto guys. Also, psst, your hair is leaving.
The Republicans just don't want to have it happen. I have spent the better part of this year trying to get these criminals out, and the Democrats want to have them come in, and we can't let.
Well, ICE doesn't keep them from coming in. That's Border Patrol. ICE gets them out once they're already here. That doesn't affect the border at all.
That happen. We just can't let that happen. Now, we've taken out hundreds of thousands, even millions of people out
Nope. Not even close.
of this country.
No, you haven't.
That shouldn't be. I'm not talking about people that came in illegal and they're working and everything.
Yes, you are. You have not taken out 1 million murdering Hannibal Lecters.
I'm talking about murderers, 11,888 murderers.
Which is a little shy of 1 million, but who's counting?
And we can't let it happen. We can't. And that's what the Democrats want. They want.
Also, the 11,000, again, is a number of people that are incarcerated in the United States. So if you extradite them without their country putting them in jail for a similar charge or having some legal basis for it, they have to do their time here. So you're basically just setting them free, like kill an American, get a free ride home.
People to come into this country, they don't care who they are. If they murder people, they're fine with that. They don't care who they are. They want borders to be open.
I don't know. It sounds a bit extreme. I mean, there's criticism, and 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 then this just sounds like flailing. Because that is clearly not true. So, and it's clearly not why the funding for ICE is shut down. Because we lost 2 American citizens. So, even if you think they care more about the illegals than the Americans, they clearly stopped this funding due to the fact that ICE had killed some Americans. So maybe they're being America first, huh? How about that?
We have borders that are stone cold closed. 10 months now in a row, nobody came into the country.
Kind of bullshit.
They want to do just the opposite.
Which is what? 10 months of everyone coming in?
This would have ruined the country.
Or 10 months of someone coming in? I guess the opposite of 0 isn't millions. The opposite of 0 is, mathematically, it's also 0. Fuck, that's so confusing. It's like having multiple infinities. How does it even work out?
If I wasn't elected, we wouldn't have a country right now. So you can't do it. So I understand John Thune and I understand Mike Johnson. They want to be sure that people aren't coming into our country like they have for the last 4 years. I don't want to say that.
ICE has all the funding it needs already, and the border is already closed. This doesn't affect that funding at all. They've got more money than they've ever had.
They've ruined it. They made my job a lot harder.
Oh, aw, guys, it, they've made his job harder. I'm not even sure they knew he was doing his job to start with.
And now we have it good. We have crime down. We have everything down.
Yes. Employment, take-home pay, job security.
But these are
your poll numbers.
People, some of the worst people. Look at Chicago. 2 days ago, they shot this thug, this horrible human being, came in through the Biden open border.
Well, I don't know that. We'll see.
They killed this beautiful young girl who's a friend of, whose father was a good friend of Dan Scavino. And it's just happening every single day.
No, it isn't. Or you wouldn't know her name. If it was happening every single day, you wouldn't be able to keep track. You would be flooded with these names all the time. It is clearly not happening every day. Murders are happening every day. Rapes are happening every day. But those are American on American. You don't give a shit about those.
These are the worst gang members, the worst killers, the worst. They allowed the worst people. And you know why? Because the country sent them out. When they saw open borders, every country throughout the world.
Oh, I see. Other countries. Democrats let them in because Venezuela kicked them out, and we felt sorry for them.
They sent them into a country, and we don't want that, and that's what it's all about. Thank you.
With Iran, sir. Iran. Oh. What's the latest with Iran, sir?
I don't know.
When will Iran? On Iran, they are being decimated. They are talking. We are talking now.
Obliteration, Chapter 3.
They want to make a deal. Very simply, our military is the greatest in the world by far. Iran is being decimated. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds like a deal. That sounds like that's the kind of thing you say mid-deal, I think. So on it, he was on his way, for the record. How could you cover the Nancy Guthrie story? I mean, it's been going, oh my goodness, Templeton's a rats. Thank you for doing this. Happy spring break to all those who were able to celebrate. Thank you. My son was here for spring break last week, and he's sorely missed right now, but we had a great time. We really did. We went to Top Golf, which is his favorite. And yeah, it was a good time. Thank you so much. Oh my God. And Trump went to this thing that let's see if I can find this beginning of this nonsense. Oh, thank God it's mercifully short. He doesn't have any like, you could tell he's on a hard fade, but he's in this future investment initiative, and I don't know, like, this logo is just like, it's very AI. Maybe it's it looks like Seven Films Institute or some shit, or Paper Airplane kind of mechanics or something. Local 232. Ugh. Anyways, President Trump delivers remarks at the Future Investment Initiative, which is what I call it when he speaks. Let's. All right, yeah. So it's got fucking. Hold on. He's got his song on, so I've got to pause that, and because I can't play that, I'll get a copyright strike, even though the president of the United States insists on playing it when he walks into someplace. That seems hardly fair. So I think I'll go. We'll play something else. Hold on. We'll play this. Hold on.
It's fun to be let's party like we're moving Guns and dongs and best of thongs. Whoa, I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Guns and dongs and best of thongs. Whoa, I love that feeling.
Just stand there. Ooh, I'm gonna stick my thumb up your butt.
Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Yay! Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do.
Bored by his own song. Look at him.
Let's party Blunts and thongs and vests and thongs. Woo, I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, owie.
Finally getting into it.
Boing, boing, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Hey! Boing, boing, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Fun stuff.
There we go. And I think that should bring us to the end of it eventually. We'll see if he mouths ooh This is so odd. Just stands there. There you go. And he mouths the oh my god. Like they played it from the top. This is like if I don't know, if they mixed Idiocracy and The Great Dictator. F2 priority. Full future. Oh, the FII priority. Fee priority. Yes, the FII priority. The Future Investment Initiative. Oh, real quick. I'm fairly certain he just went like he went UAA. Watch real quick. Watch his USA. USA. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of rich people in this audience. I'm looking left, right, center, all the
Jesus Christ. They don't worry about gas prices. They're not going to bitch to me about home prices. They got houses they've never even seen.
way in the back. They're rich too. But I'm thrilled to be back with so many friends and partners, leaders, and innovators here
AKA rich people.
at the Future Investment Initiative. And it's a really great group of people, very smart group of people. They know what's happening in the world.
Yes, they know that being rich is a great way to be in a room with me.
It's my second address to the conference as President of the United States, and it's my honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Just wound up. I'm sure they're excited he's there. Maybe the applause is just a little slow on the uptake.
As President of the United States, and it's my honor to be here. Thank you very much. As you know, we're gathered at a moment of
Jesus Christ. Thank you very much. That's good. Okay, that's all we got.
bold action and historic decision to make America and our allies safer and stronger, more prosperous, more successful than ever before. And that's what's happening.
And so what's happening? Like you think the world is on fire, but it's not. It's the exact opposite of on fire. Level 2 hype train.
Tonight, we're closer than ever to the rise of the Middle East.
Oh no. We are?
That is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail. That's what's happened. It was nuclear blackmail for years and years.
It's amazing that they were able to nuclear blackmail everyone without nukes.
And beyond.
This, I gotta say, according to Trump, breaking news: Sheikh Khalifa and MBS are chicken shits, and so are all their people. They're afraid of weapons that don't even exist.
On that, there was blackmail period under my leadership.
Yeah, of any kind. If you know, if anybody knows blackmail,
America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime, decimating Iran's capabilities with Operation Epic Fury, something that nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. I built it in my first term. Remember, I said $1 trillion.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. You constructed all. You forced all the soldiers in, and you invented the helicopter, and like missiles were shaped. They were round and pointed the wrong way when you were in office. Before that, you built the whole thing.
They also. What do you mean $1 trillion? $1 trillion every year.
Yes, I'm fairly certain $1 trillion means $1 trillion. Also, rich people are very aware of that number as well.
Another trillion the next, another trillion. We have the best people. We have by far the best equipment. We have weapons that nobody's ever seen before. We have weapons that nobody even knows about.
Yeah, even the people operating. What does this do? Shit.
Except for a few of us. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of.
By the way, he's got a brand new brown shellacking. Like he's going with burnt orange today when he was talking to the farmers. Yeah, he looked like the lady in There's Something About Mary, the old lady neighbor.
The Middle East, but they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run.
Woo! And the Mo is on the run. All right. Tepid applause.
Last June, America's armed forces obliterated Iran's key nuclear facilities in one of the most spectacular military actions of all time. Nobody has ever seen anything like it.
Well, certainly can't ask them afterwards because if they did see it, they probably died. Also, key nuclear institutions, not their nuclear program, which is what I was told was obliterated last year. If you don't recall, it's an interesting shift in language. If he was a smarter man, I would think he was threading this very finely.
In the dead of night, no moon.
Yeah, dude, they don't eyeball it, you dumbass. I still can't get over this.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, the time also doesn't matter. They're practically in low Earth orbit.
We went in.
No, you didn't. They went in.
It's called Operation Midnight Hammer.
No. Can't touch this.
Every single one of those bombs hit their mark. Air shafts. They will never build an air shaft again, I promise you that.
Well, then what are they going to do? Suffocate? Hey, Charlie, why don't you build the air shaft? Don't say that word. Why? Every time I build an air shaft, a giant bomb comes down it. What? Any underground facility or any facility built into the side of fucking mines have to have air shafts, stupid.
They went right down that granite mountain through air shafts. Most incredible technology you've ever seen, that a thing like that. And it was decimation, it was obliteration.
Well, all right. Well, I'll take either one, I guess.
One of the networks said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. Turned out to be even more than we thought.
No, it wasn't, or you wouldn't have to go back in. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are we there then? If it was more than obliteration, it's like that old Carlin bit about how, when somebody's like, I'm more than happy to do it. How can you be more than happy? Like, we had to put Charlie in a home. He was more than happy.
But
how much further past obliteration?
After that attack, the Iranian lunatics refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. And I have to say, before that, Barack Hussein Obama, did you ever hear of him? Barack Hussein Obama, he had the Iran nuclear deal. He went to
Yeah, and it was working.
Iran. He paid him. Remember, he sent two Boeing 757 jetliners. They took the seats out and they piled it with cash.
You do realize that they didn't just take like civilian aircraft, that we have cargo planes.
1.7 billion of cash.
Of
That's
cash.
when I realized the president is very powerful. The presidency is a very powerful thing.
That's when I realized I wanted to be a president. Wait a minute. You can actually fly planes of cash someplace? This will really help me with my blackmail.
Do that. I haven't done that yet. I haven't found a reason to do that yet, but that's big. 1.7 billion in cash. You know, there wasn't a bank in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland that had any money after that disaster. But they sent the cash to Iran. But more importantly, they signed an agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, which if I didn't terminate it in my first term, I terminated it almost immediately. If I didn't terminate it, they would have had a nuclear weapon long ago, and they would have used it on the Middle East, Israel, and the Middle East.
Okay, both.
And you know the Middle East because when you look at all the missiles that got fired, UAE had 1,500 missiles shot at it. They didn't think they were going to have any. Saudi Arabia didn't.
Yeah, they kind of thought they might
expect to have. I mean, we have the most powerful Saudis. Oh, yes, sir, you are so powerful. But Yasser, you didn't expect any missiles going to Saudi Arabia. They didn't expect them in Qatar. They didn't expect them in Kuwait, in Bahrain.
Why? If the Houthis in Yemen are a proxy of the Iranians, you wouldn't just expect it from Iran in that situation. You would expect it from Iran and Yemen.
The missiles rained down on you. They were going to hit you with nuclear or whatever they had. But we stopped it. We stopped it. We stopped it with him. And then there was a big moment also in my first administration when I took out Soleimani. And a lot of people think that might have been the biggest thing of all because
No,
he was a mad genius. He was a vicious,
no, he wasn't. An IED is not the product of genius. It's scraps.
horrible human being, but he was a great general and a great leader, if you define a leader in a certain way, very, very powerful leader.
If you've assassinated him, then you really want to build him up so you don't seem like you wasted the effort on a loser.
In fact, he was so powerful that I really think that the leadership of Iran was extremely happy when I took him out, but they
You what?
Dum 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 stupid.
What? What?
don't say that, but nobody's going to be asking him anymore because they're not here either.
So I guess you can make up whatever story you want. Is that the point?
But getting the termination and terminating the Iran nuclear deal that was done
The dirt,
by Biden,
the dirt, the Iran nuclear dirt, dirt.
terminating the Iran nuclear deal
Nuclear dirt deal. The do.
that was done by Biden and Obama. I would say mostly Obama. Actually, I don't think Biden knew where he was then, too. He had no idea. If you said to him, the Iran nuclear, what's that? But
Okay, I'm sorry. Just the pokes at him being old and forgetful are getting really. They're just kind of baseline. They're lukewarm. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have a zinger, use it. And also, don't say Iran nuclear right before you make fun of how someone else talks or thinks.
there was 4 years of hell we had with this guy as our leader, I'll tell you.
Yeah. The hellish rescue package, getting everyone vaccinated, getting everyone back to work, the lowest unemployment in like 60 years, an infrastructure act, the Chips and Science Act. Yeah, it was brutal.
And then we hit him with the B-2 bomber, so we did it twice. But if they would have had a nuclear weapon, it would have been a whole big deal. And I wouldn't be here right now, and probably you guys wouldn't be too happy. You might be in an area, who knows where you would have been. But we did it twice.
Who knows what the fuck you're talking about?
And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be
You already said that part.
wasted. You would have thought they were only going at Israel. They weren't. As president of the United States,
Yeah, get back to the teleprompter, dipshit.
I would never allow the world's #1 state sponsor of terror to obtain a nuclear weapon. I said that for a long time. And I didn't.
Apparently you did, because you obliterated their program and made them more anxious and more determined than ever to make one. Now they basically they'll probably have to scrap together a dirty bomb and drop it someplace.
To defend America and our allies over the past 27 days, the U.S. Armed Forces, most powerful in the world, have been annihilating Iran's military capacity with force, precision, skill like the world has never seen. It was
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could argue, I'm not denigrating our soldiers, but it takes more skill the less tech you have. You know what I mean? Like I would argue that people who fought with swords face to face, higher level of skill than if you can, calculate something from a distance and push send, sending bombs like emails. You know what I mean? It is a little skill wise.
violence,
The bar isn't as high.
actually, really violence. We're crushing Iran's currently as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this. They lied about 3 days ago.
Somebody's like, oh, I got a notification on my phone. You are apparently too close to bullshit. You should move away.
I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard. Anybody would be negotiating.
That's not the same as negotiating. Just because you think they should be afraid doesn't mean they're afraid, dum-dum. What the hell?
They are negotiating.
They're negotiating by not hitting me as hard as I'm hitting them with the biggest military in the
They're
world.
begging to make a deal.
No, they're not. No, they are not.
Begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later.
What in the fuck?
And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil.
They didn't send them to us. They let Pakistani boats through. They have a relationship with Pakistan. Those boats are headed to China with oil in them. You've already you've taken off the sanctions for them to send oil. That wasn't a gift. You said it was okay, dummy.
And the following day I saw this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very strange, there were 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran. And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. We're negotiating now. And
no, not at all. He lifted the sanctions. They control the area. They certainly, or at least perceive, to know where the mines are, if there are any at all. China's been paying to basically sneak by. More than likely, China paid for those 8 boats, dum-dum. God damn.
It'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz.
Jesus Christ. Just like, dude, a one-note band.
Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said no.
No, we won't say it. Nobody's going to say you said it accidentally. They'll say you were being a dick again in a very pathetic way in the middle of something that's incredibly serious. Like when you said that like COVID would go away when the sun came out like snot on a fucking banister.
There's no accidents with me, not too many.
Well, and if you do have one, Walt is always there to clean things up. Yeah.
If there were, we'd have a major story. No, well, we had that with the Gulf of Mexico. Remember the Gulf of
Oh, fuck.
Mexico? And one day I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? We have 92% of the area around it. They have 8%. Really
Coastline? The word is coastline? Is that what you're looking for?
less than 8%. But for 350 years, it was good. They were there 100 years longer than us, Mexico. They're at 350, we're at 250. And I
So maybe that's why.
said, often asked myself, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It seems like we dominate. Well, when I checked, it was more than 92%. So I announced,
Also, no, it isn't.
I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but I announced that from now on, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America.
Yes, wonderful. You're just giving the next Democratic president something to get a round of applause for returning back to normal.
And it took about 1 hour, and it was done. The president called me. She's really a nice person, too. I like her a lot. She called up. She had the most beautiful voice. She's a very elegant woman, has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She goes, President, tell me, this is not so.
Oh, my God.
No, it's so. Oh, it's so.
Sorry, you said no, it's so? Were you sexting before she decided to call? No, it's so. President, tell me it isn't so.
And then Google Maps changed it. We won the court case in about 1 hour, and Google Maps changed the name, and it's now.
And it immediately lowered house prices for first-time home buyers. It was amazing. I don't know how it was. Most of us didn't even know it was connected. Just by naming it the Gulf of America, grocery prices went down. How do you even? It was incredible. Like only he could know that these are tied together
The
somehow.
Gulf of America, which it should be, in all fairness. We're crushing Iran's weapons stockpiles, destroying their missiles and drone factories at levels nobody ever thought was possible,
Yeah, we're even blowing up ones that don't exist.
and turning their defense industrial base into nothing. Iran's Navy is
I think you mean rubble or something like that, not just nothing. I mean, unless you're talking about some sort of intrinsically self-oriented meditative state.
gone. It's all sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere.
Well, that's usually how ships get there.
Did you see the attack submarine that we have went after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I never saw anything. And it caught them
Yeah, you never saw this either.
in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. No, then they're 100% dead.
Anyways, let's talk about investing in the future.
They have 22 mine droppers. They go mine droppers.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't. Mainly because they don't speak English, primarily. I mean, they're capable, but they have a.
And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are gone. So I guess
They're gone.
they can drop mines, but they're going to have to take them out by a rowboat because they don't have any boats. Their Air Force is dead, totally, completely dead. It's out of business. No planes left at all. Their anti-aircraft and communications capabilities are.
Yeah. By the way, is anyone surprised that the U.S. military couldn't take out the air and ground targets? Was that ever a question? Was that ever a concern? Hold on one second. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to the later there's finished it. Okay. What are the Iranian ships called? See if there's a 5 things to know about the Iranian mine laying ships. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll just put this up here real quick. Couple things. Iran does not need a navy to mine the strait. Much of Iran's traditional navy is gone. Trump was right about that. But that misses the larger picture. The real threat comes from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' navy. This separate force has spent decades developing asymmetric capabilities aimed specifically at targeting traffic in the strait, and it remains largely intact. Iran is estimated to possess between 2,000 and 6,000 naval mines, including rudimentary contact mines of the type Tehran deployed during the tanker war in the 1980s, as well as more sophisticated bottom and influence mines that detonate in response to acoustic, magnetic, or pressure signatures and are significantly harder to detect and clear. But the number of mines matters far less than how they're employed. The IRGCN, the Navy, has built its mine warfare capability around speed, redundancy, and concealment. Its primary platforms include a mix of small vessels and submersibles concealed within a network of tunnels and caves along its southern coast. The United States reportedly destroyed 16 of these boats in the first few hours of reports of mining surface, but the IRGCN still has hundreds, possibly even thousands of such attack boats. Using swarm tactics, these boats operate in large groups, approach targets simultaneously from multiple directions. Each of these boats can deploy 2 to 3 mines per sortie. Specially trained combat divers called frogmen either drop mines directly from the boats or place them manually in the water. By dispersing its mine-laying capacity across numerous highly mobile platforms, Iran has made it much harder for the U.S. to locate and target the mine layers themselves. And again, the term is mine layers. They lay the mines. Not mine droppers. They don't drop the mines. They might explode.
Are totally dismantled and dead.
No, they're not. They've got thousands more where those came from.
And their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. No, their leaders
Then who are you negotiating with?
are dead. Their supreme leader is no longer supreme. He's dead. Son is either dead or in very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. I think he says, just keep me out of this. This is the only country where nobody wants to lead. There's nobody. Who would like to lead Iran? Please raise your hand, a big audience of distinguished. Who would like to be our leader?
Jesus Christ. He's joking about the country that we're at war with, while making the case that they are negotiating with somebody. Who are you negotiating with if they don't have a leader? Who carries out their end of the negotiations? Who keeps the promise? Right? Not that Trump's going to keep up his side of the agreement, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Dead silent. Nobody wants to lead. Now we have an amazing military. We have
No, yeah. But he does that when a joke bombs.
the greatest intelligence apparatus that anybody's ever seen. We can tell you
Ironically.
everything that's going on. We know everything that's going on. We're achieving each and every one of the military objectives I laid out less than 4 weeks ago. And we're doing it really, I guess, we're 2 weeks ahead of schedule. We're not into it very long. We wouldn't have thought we would have been. We knew it was going to be easy. We call it a military operation. We don't call it a war. We call it a military operation.
Yeah, for legal reasons.
We're very disappointed, by the way, with NATO. They didn't come to our aid.
Why would we attacked? What aid? What are you talking about? You should have built a coalition if you knew you were going to need help when you went in. What the fuck are you talking about? Why is this NATO's problem? It's like you picked a fight in a bar and you want your friends to pick up the tab. I mean, it is exactly like that.
I didn't try too hard, actually, because I wanted to prove a point. I didn't sell. They probably think I'm a lousy salesman. I said, would you like to help us? To President of France.
No. Donald, we cannot. No.
Nice guy. He is a nice guy. I said, Emmanuel, would you like to help? Yes. As soon as the war is over, we will send ships. I said, no. I don't want them when the war is over. I want them before we start. And
also, no, they did not do that. He did not reach out to NATO or our allies and give them a heads up at all. It's a fucking joke. By no means. That was one of the primary issues, was that they didn't start to build a coalition out of this.
UK, our longest ally, nobody ever thought this was possible. I said to the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, we'd like you to have 2 aircraft carriers.
Oh, no, Donald. No, Donald. Oh, don't. No, Donald.
They're little ones. They're not very good. I know they don't go fast, and I know they don't work very well, but we could probably use them maybe for helicopters. And they said, yes, we are preparing them. I see, when will they be ready?
What the fuck is... Who in England speaks like, oh, yes, we are preparing them, sir. This is what we're doing. Oh, welcome to the United Kingdom. What the fuck is he doing? Who is the Prime Minister of the UK? Sato from fucking Karate Kid 3? Miyagi, we'll not send the ships to you. What the fuck is that? What is he bowing about? What? This is England.
And they said, yes, we are preparing them. I see, when will they be ready? Maybe in a month or 2. Oh, great, that's wonderful. I said, are you going to help us? Yes, we're going to help you when the war is finished. We will be there.
We will be there.
This is NATO. And I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. And I've always said we help NATO, but they'll never help us. And if the big one ever happened, and I don't think it will, but if the big one ever happened, I guarantee you they wouldn't be there. And we learned.
First of all, what the fuck do you mean, the big one? What's the big one? For real. I'm sure he means nuclear war between us and China or us and Russia, in which case everybody's involved, whether they like it or not. I'm sure the leadership of the UK If nuclear missiles are flying, are going to go, no, we will sit this one out. We are England. We are the new. Oh my goodness. We're going to not to do this as the king has in the king's English. What the fuck is? Ah. By the way, hit the like, share the show for Christ's sake. Please just give a thumbs up, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Just do that favor for me. Okay, here we go.
From that, and remember what I said, because they made a big mistake. They were not there. The chancellor.
What? Not where? Again, why the fuck do they have to join us on everything? Why is it their responsibility at all? If we got the most powerful military in the world, not even close, and we can fucking like Operation Santa drop, bunker busters through a fucking chimney in the middle of the night without even having to look. We can do a no-look 3-pointer into their fucking air shafts. Why are we bothering the rest of the world to come to our fucking rescue?
Germany. These are all friends of mine. Friedrich, the Chancellor of Germany, he said.
Friedrich? Hang on. Huh?
The Chancellor of Germany. These are all friends of mine. They made a big mistake. They were not there. The Chancellor of Germany. These are all friends of mine. Friedrich.
Friedrich. Is he Frieder? Ish. Friedrich? These are all friends of mine. My good friend Friedrich.
The Chancellor of Germany, he said, this is not our war. We have nothing to do. Well, Ukraine's not our war, but we help them.
Yeah, but they were attacked. That was an ally that was attacked by another person. We would be Russia in this situation. Like, this is like Russia saying, why didn't Europe help us attack Ukraine?
I wouldn't have had to help. If I were president, that war would have never happened. But we had a man of a very low IQ.
By the way, I think I'm learning a lot about the future investment potential of the United States. Don't you?
Was president, and he had no idea what the hell it was. I was listening to him talk. I said, he's forcing an issue that's going to be trouble, and it turned out to be trouble. Last week, 28,000 soldiers died. The week before that, 32,000 soldiers died. I think we're going to get it settled, but it's a terrible thing. Worse since World War II. I settled 8 wars, and this should have been one of the easier ones, but the hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky is extreme. Never good.
Not good. Hold on. Where is it? I need a much bigger pointer.
Not good.
Right.
It's a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war.
Sorry, what? Back up. Hatred is a very...
Never good. President Putin and President Zelensky is extreme. Never good. Hatred's a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war.
You'd think, you'd think hatred is a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I still think you still got a chance.
I want to thank the entire kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Who is here in the room?
Very helpful, unlike NATO. Saudi Arabia fought, Qatar fought, UAE fought, Bahrain fought, and Kuwait fought, even though they shot down 3 of our planes with the finest missiles. We could have done without that.
Jesus Christ, he's just joking about it.
They didn't know they were our planes. They wasted 3 great Patriot missiles, and you have to say there's nothing like these Patriots. We had an attack of 101 a few days ago. 101 missiles shot at a very valuable thing that we had floating on the water, namely an aircraft carrier, biggest in the world. And they were shot, 101, going to...
So this was part of the negotiation, I guess?
2,500 miles an hour. And out of the 101 missiles shot, 101 missiles were shot down and spread out all over the sea. Pretty amazing. That's called incredible technology, right?
It is. It's called incredible technology. You could file that under incredible technology.
Steve, that's called great tech. Now think of it, 101 missiles
It's called great technology, not quite incredible.
going 2,000.
Is he sedated? No, he's just slow.
500 miles an hour. You don't have a lot of time. And these aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people.
Sorry, I just got a brain cramp trying to comprehend this bullshit.
These aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people doing that. And I watch them.
Weightlifting shoulders. People thinking with their shoulders.
I watch their performance. Very smart people. And these aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people
What?
doing that. And I watch them. I watch their performance. Missiles launched. It's almost like they're bored by it. They have like 9 seconds ahead of FIFA, the most powerful man in sports. Johnny, you never choked, right? These guys can't choke, but they're very smart. High IQs. We need high IQs. We have too
Good Lord.
many low IQ people. But what happened is, you have to see it. It's very cool. Missiles launched. Missiles launching. They're launching. Okay, we're ready. 101 missiles coming at them. All right, we have to have like 11
Oh, fuck me. He's going to do like shoom, shoom, bing, bing, boom.
seconds to make a determination. Then at 7 seconds, fire. It's the most unbelievable thing. Fire, boom. One at a time, just knocked them out like they were nothing. Genius. It's like unbelievable. I mean, to think and we have the technology nobody has. Look at what happened in Venezuela.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought these guys had to go out on the deck and throw like discus at these missiles. And so
They had other equipment, not ours. They made the mistake of using other equipment. Didn't work too well. And Venezuela was, took 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute war. This one's bigger.
well, their entire administration, minus the president, is still in place. It's all the same leadership.
It's bigger. It's a bigger country.
We also didn't destroy their military.
A lot
Or the cartel's military, I guess.
powerful. It's a lot more powerful, but it's not powerful anymore. Within 2 days, I think the damage was done, but now it's really done. Now we're just going after targets, and they have no anti-aircraft, so we're just floating over the top looking for whatever we want. And
Yeah, we're not even using F-35s anymore. We're using balloons. Our guys are floating by holding like a bunch of balloons like up and firing at the ground with a machine gun. I mean, it's so, what the fuck are they going to do? Suck it. Brap, brap.
we're hitting it, and we have another 3,554 targets left, and that'll be done pretty quickly. And
3,554.
we, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do.
After the 3,554th or before?
But they've never seen anything like it. When we hit Venezuela, that's a very
Jesus Christ. Is he going to talk about the discombobulator again?
strong military country. They have soldiers. If you've ever been there, I've been there. They have a lot of soldiers walking around all over the place. Everyone's a soldier.
When the fuck did this guy go to Venezuela?
Very military kind of a place. And there was a general, professional general, really good.
I'm dead serious. I mean, as president, I don't remember him going. What the fuck was this guy doing in Venezuela when he wasn't president? For real?
And he said, we were all set for him. We knew there was a problem when we noticed at 1 o'clock in the morning, every 32 seconds, another airplane, a very fast plane, was coming off the deck of an aircraft carrier. That's actually the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. And every 32 seconds, boom, boom, boom. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So we said, okay, I think we're in trouble. But they were ready for us, Johnny. And we were ready. He said, we were ready.
Who's ready? Wait, I'm lost. We were ready for them or they were ready for us? Everybody was ready? They were just lubed up, bent over.
And then they hit us and they came from 17 different angles. They were here, they were there. We ran for our lives. It was over. And it was over. And then we took this guy who was a very bad guy, and within
Sorry, who told this story that you're relating? One of the dead soldiers?
literally minutes, he was in the back of a helicopter in a
Yeah, it was a kidnapping.
house that was in a big military base with thousands and thousands of soldiers. The house was all steel with steel doors,
Yeah, we definitely need to grab that that clip from before.
steel everything. They had the small steel doors, the big storage. We were equipped for anything. Even the big one, it would have been
The medium-sized steel doors, the large aluminum doors, the rather small wooden doors, the kind you put on a bathroom that's surprisingly strong. I don't understand it. And yet you can open it with the bent coat hanger, swings and roundabouts.
opened within 30 seconds. They walked in with blow torches. And within minutes, he was out of the house, being thrown into the helicopter, sailing away, and the soldiers just
Sorry, they melted the steel door, the giant steel door with blowtorches. Are you sure it wasn't made out of wax or marzipan?
looked. Bye. Bye. Enjoy your trip, sir. It was amazing. It was an amazing, but this is more amazing what's happening now because
It
we
is.
took a very strong country. I could see
Jesus Christ. We're watching the sundowning. I mean, this is where's Doc Adam?
yes, sir, the problem you would have had.
Holy
today.
shit.
This was not a weak country. This was a strong country. They had over 10,000 missiles that they accumulated since October 2nd, if you think. Since the B-2s, really since the B-2s, they accumulated them and matter.
What? Sorry. The B2, that's not October 7th. Does he think the strike happened on October 7th?
Of months, 6 months, but they had well over 10,000. They had rocket launchers. You know, rocket launchers are more important than the rockets.
Shit. Yeah, the great thing about rocket launchers is that they work even when you don't have rockets. If you've got a rocket launcher, who cares if you have access to rocket launch? I mean, honestly, why would even anybody? What the fuck are you talking about?
As you take a rocket launcher out, that's the end of that. People think you can take those big rockets and throw them out your window, like when you
No, nobody thinks that. No, they don't. But you can dismantle them and put them on a truck and turn them into a bomb through other means. Yeah, they're still an explosive device.
were a child with the paper airplanes. You said it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't? Are you sure? I could have swore I read something a long time ago. Or did I dream it?
Dumb, dumb, stupid. Dumb, silly, stupid, dumb, dumb. Dopey, dippy, dumb, dumb. Stupid, really dumb. Moron!
Oh boy.
You need those launchers, and we knocked out 97% of the launchers. That's why you may be attacked, but you're not being attacked with very heavy numbers of missiles like at the beginning.
Yeah.
But in particular, I want to thank my friend, the Crown Prince Mohammed, who is a fantastic man and a great friend of mine, and a friend of all of yours, I think. And he's
He just needed a moment to break wind. Like whenever he does that kind of like yeah.
a warrior. He's a warrior. He was not afraid of this country that, frankly, he should have been afraid of because they're very powerful. I want to thank Tamim because Tamim is, these three people have been unbelievable. Tamim, and then UAE, Mohammed. These are three great people. And they were under tremendous attack, unexpected attack. And they weren't thinking this was going to happen. Nobody was. And they turned against them and really became very powerfully aligned. And they were with us, but they weren't with us very obliquely.
Only slightly obliquely. Obliquely.
They were with us, but
Hold on. Run that by me again. What? Sorry. I'm I need that. What's the standard?
against them and really became very powerfully aligned. And they were with us, but they weren't with us very obliquely. They were with us. But I think that
They weren't, or they were with us obliquely.
I have to acknowledge for their bravery because they were being hit pretty hard. All three of them, they were being hit pretty hard.
Pretty hard?
The Emir, Mohammed, you had two Mohammeds and a Tamim.
Oh, shit. These fucking foreign names, am I right?
Pretty hard. The Emir,
He's looking right at it.
Mohammed.
Just call him Muhammad. Just Muhammad the second.
You had two Mohammeds and a Tamim, and they're friends of mine. And all
You had two Mohammeds and a Tamim to go. Thank you. And I don't want any French fries. You know, a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips.
also, I have to say that Bahrain and Kuwait, they were stand up more so than NATO. I want to tell you,
Well, they're kind of in the line of fire, and they weren't until they were struck.
more so than NATO. Now they're a little closer to the action than
Yeah, you'd think.
NATO in all fairness, but very disappointed with NATO. But
Yeah, because they're what, not bailing you out of your stupid fucking plan? Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called it a plan. That's my
I
mistake.
wasn't disappointed with our allies in the Middle East and others. And others. We had tremendous support from countries that were not in the general area.
Yeah, have a great time. Yeah, you're killing it, bro. Like that's the kind of support we're looking for.
But they were tremendously supportive. I think Turkey was fantastic.
They were terrific. Especially stuffing was even better.
Actually fantastic. And they stayed out of things that we asked them to. And
We thank them for not doing anything. We're mad at NATO for not doing anything, but we're really glad that Turkey's not doing anything.
he's a great leader. He's a great leader. And Indonesia was great. We had so many great, you learn who your friends are. Really.
And sometimes your friends are the people who don't enable you and don't join you in stupid exercises. And then others, sometimes your friends are people who don't do anything because fuck you, and you try to make it seem like something that, like, I was going to invite them to the party, but I was like, you guys probably shouldn't come, and they didn't. So that really just shows you how close friends we are. That I told them, like, they so wanted to come to the party, but I was like, nah.
You learn who your friends are. And but Indonesia, Turkey,
Jesus Christ, this is brutal.
and so many other countries. But the five were great. But your dear friend and my dear friend he was all man. He stood
Jesus Christ. What, did he whip it out and put it on your forehead?
up and he
He was all man.
wasn't scared. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he was, but he didn't show it. He was great, a great leader. Saudi Arabia can be very proud of because he's got a lot of titles. He's the crown prince. He's the prime minister. He's the future king. He's got about 7 other titles. I said, you have more titles than any human being on earth. He's everything. And he deserves to be because he's a winner.
Jesus Christ. So for all the folks that think we're following Israel in this, I rest my case.
So I just want to thank those people.
It sounds like you want to suck his dick. I gotta say, holy hell. He's all man, and he stood up very strongly, and he's a winner. God damn, you smell like a winner.
So the Middle East will be transformed, and the future of that region I don't think it's ever looked brighter. You couldn't have, we did the Abraham Accords. I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, so will you please go back and explain? It's time now. Mohammed said, oh, yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Mohammed, we did that. Oh, yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out, and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords. And we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords.
Because it's a slush fund?
We
It's not a peace deal.
have some very brave countries that did it, years ago. They went in, and you know who they are, the early four, and they did a great thing
Who?
in doing it, and it was
Who are they? What? Say them. Say them. Say the four.
great for them also economically.
Who would
It was
those
a
be?
great thing that they did it, but I think all the Middle
Yeah, all four of them. What were those? What were the four?
Eastern countries are going to be joining now.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, I would say all the Middle Eastern countries and beyond. You have people not in the Middle East that want to be members. You'll be
Why? What are you talking about? Why the fuck would South Korea want to be a part of the Abraham Accords? What are you talking about? It's a Middle Eastern alliance.
seeing that soon. In the meantime, the conflict in Iran also makes it absolutely vital for the radical left Democrats in Congress to immediately end their dangerous shutdown of our Department of Homeland Security. They want to play games. That's all they are. These people are lunatics. They sort of remind me actually a little bit of Iran.
Oh, fuck you.
They're deranged. They're deranged Democrats. For 42 days, they've tried to completely eliminate funding for the number one duty of government, which is keeping America safe.
Well, no, I mean, you have, because you don't want body cams on ICE agents, and you want to add limitations on trans surgery to a bill about the border and customs enforcement.
And they want no ICE. They want
Why are trans issues in DHS funding? Why are they tied at all? Why is that a deal breaker? Because you can't get that shit through any other way? Because you even have a problem getting it passed through Republicans, so you got to slap it on some must-pass shit that they can hide behind?
no border patrol. They want no protection of any kind to be given, reopening our border.
Yeah, none. Yeah, it's a very strong Democratic position. We just want, every American citizen to drop trowel, go outside, stand near a bus stop, bent over, and just wait for the nearest immigrant to take advantage. That's the goal. I mean, it's reasonable, It might sound hippie-ish to some of you guys, but we just think that's what's fair.
And stopping all immigration enforcement in our country. They want to
No, they don't.
have our
They just want it on film, so it's actually immigration enforcement.
borders be open again.
They want real warrants and stuff. We want America to stay America. Otherwise, what difference does it make if there are illegals here if we have no standard? What are you keeping them out of? If you turn America basically into a South American dictatorship, why reject people in the first place? What, are they going to take advantage of our system that's exactly like the one where they came from? What the fuck are you talking about?
We took in 25 million people.
No, we did not.
We've gotten a lot of them out.
No, you did not, because they were in your head and you forgot that you'd said 35 million.
Tremendous numbers of people that should never have been here. Over 4
Yeah, tremendous numbers of people who never were.
long years before my election, these same radical, lunatic Democrats let 25 million
What the fuck? Why is this a speech in front of a bunch of rich dickheads in the Future Investment Initiative? How is this the speech? Did they just plug the wrong one into the teleprompter? I'm serious. Are they sitting back there going, fuck, switch it over to the other bullshit?
people pour across our borders like they were nothing, like they were non-existent.
Well, they weren't, actually. So there maybe you're onto something there.
These people were totally unvetted, unchecked, including murderers, drug
Many of them were invisible and still are.
dealers, gang members, vicious criminals, even the
Housekeepers, roofers,
criminally insane.
farmers.
In 2024, the American people voted in a landslide to stop the invasion of our country.
No. Actually, a bunch of Democrats stayed home because of Gaza.
And I won all 7 swing states.
Well, we'll see.
millions
because Elon Musk knew he'd have a way to plant agents inside of every element of our government.
and millions of votes. We won the Electoral College by a massive number.
And yet, you still don't, you got a hair's breadth in the House and a small margin in the Senate. Doesn't sound like you got a landslide that way.
We won the popular vote, millions and vote, just millions. This was a big election. I loved every minute of it. And for the first time, no Republicans done anything like this in decades, but for the first time, we won the counties of America. That's a big one. 2,000.
No, it's not. Most counties are fucking empty.
700 to 525. 2,000.
Yeah, the 525 house like 60% of the populace.
1,700 to 525. 87% of the vote. We won 87% of the counties. In other words, it was a mandate like our country has not seen in many decades. It was a
Yeah, it's not a mandate.
mandate for an ideology, which is an ideology basically of common sense. We want strong borders. We want a powerful military. We want good education. We want to have homes for people and low interest rates and no inflation. And right now,
No inflation. All right, so you want economic collapse, I guess. So you mean disinflation or deflation? Do you know the difference? I don't think so.
now my polls are better than they've ever been before.
Oh, no, they're not.
You know, I heard the other day, I think that he's losing the MAGA base. I said, really? Because of the war. See, I get into a war. Of course, they call it a war. I call it a military conflict.
No, you just called it a war.
But
You literally just called it a war.
there's a legal reason for that.
Right, and you're too stupid and you keep calling it a war because you're dumb.
But you get into a war or a military operation or
I would think you would just stop calling it a war entirely.
conflict for you, and then they say my base. I said, no. MAGA's stronger than ever because MAGA's make America great again. But my MAGA people, which is the greatest phrase in the history of politics, it's the most important movement by far,
Oh, he's getting slobbery now.
probably in the history of the world.
Jesus Christ. Oh, we're halfway through this horse shit. Hold on, got about 15 minutes left. Ugh.
I mean, you know, there's never been anything like this. And in fact, just a few days ago, you have to understand, the fake news right back. Oh, that's a lot of fake
Oh, fuck me. He's just playing the hits now.
news. Yeah, so you brought a lot of fake news with you. They must know you're going to make a speech at some point because look at the. But what happened is
Jesus Christ. With that one, eggs. Ugh, that was brutal. Like, I don't even know if they know what the fuck he's talking about at this point. 5 eggs. Ooh.
the fake news was saying he may. They hope. You know, it's like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy. They say he may be losing his MAGA base, and that would be maybe the end of him. And then I happened to be watching CNN, which is terrible. They treat me terribly. In fact, just a few days ago, CNN had a poll that had me at 100% of MAGA voters. They said they've never seen anything like that.
Well, part of it is just because people are leaving MAGA. They're no longer associating themselves with MAGA. We'll get to that. I'm over him. I'm sorry if usually I try to get all the way through one of these things, but maybe we'll come back to it later. Maybe we won't. But there is there's a clear distinction of like MAGA kind of dropping out on Trump. And it's a wave of what's called doomerism on the right. Which is like people, for some reason, and I don't know why, think this isn't going to work out. This whole Iran thing. And, but someone's got a message for all you maggots out there. Doomerism is taking over your life. Don't let it control you. Thank you, Matt Walsh. Thank you. Yes, that's the thing. They're coming for you.
Outside of the Revolutionary War period, it would be hard to find another period in American history when Americans have been more reluctant to pay their taxes, and justifiably so. I mean, at this point, it's understandable if your eyes start to glaze over when you hear about yet another massive fraud scheme that's been engineered by foreigners to steal millions of dollars worth of your money. We're talking about billions of dollars in Medicaid fraud in just the state of Minnesota alone every single year. Think about that for a second. In just one state,
Yeah.
Medicaid fraud all by itself, which is enabled by insurance companies and the Democrat Party.
No. Medicaid is actually enabled by the Democratic Party. And it's not Democrat, it's Democratic because of the ideals of the party itself. Also, no. Fraud within the system is not indicative of the entire system. Eat shit.
Accounts for billions of dollars in theft. In response, the Trump administration has launched an anti-fraud task force led by J.D. Vance to
Which is, I mean, you got your crack man on it.
prosecute some of the worst offenders. But the truth is, an anti-fraud task force can't actually solve the problem.
Well, not with J.D. Vance running it, obviously.
Playing whack-a-mole with fraudsters isn't going to work. They're too creative, and our system of taxpayer handouts is effectively based on the honor system.
No, it isn't. There are receipts.
No,
How do you think they caught the ones they already caught?
understand what I mean? We'll start with a fun little exercise
Oh, dear God.
where we all play detective.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that I get to use my brain and not J.D. Vance's brain. So I'm not, hamstrung in this situation.
So I want you to watch this footage from an alleged armed robbery in Georgia
An alleged armed robbery.
and try to identify what, if any, type of fraud might be occurring here. Also, for your own amusement, watch very closely when they zoom in on the alleged attack on the store clerk. But here it is.
Security video captures what looks to be a Georgia cashier being held up by an armed robber. But police say the whole thing was fake, and the
Because the guy doesn't have a gun?
duo staged the armed robbery to steal $5,000 from the register. The incident happened.
You might be right. And that person was caught because you can see it on video. And this is not something that happens all the time. And it's also stupid.
In January at a Duluth, Georgia Shell gas station. Surveillance video from January 20th shows the cashier, who was later identified as Raj Patel, behind the register. He then walks
No relation.
over toward the cash register, opens it up, and takes a stack of bills. Then a man in a black hoodie is seen charging toward Patel before throwing what looks to be a punch. It's unclear if the robber's fist actually connected to
Yeah, it didn't.
Patel's face, but he collapses to the floor. Then the suspect takes off. Once outside, that's when the officer encounters a man later identified by police as Danny Curtis, who tells them
Walsh does realize this is on the law and crime. Hey, you know what? Pause for a second. This is a great example of why body cameras are very useful. Yeah, also, this is when was this? 2002?
Come here. Come here. Stop, Danny. Danny, stop. Danny, stop. Stop. Look, okay? Stop. Let go.
Now, first of all,
that happened during the Bush administration? What are we talking about?
you're going to stage a robbery to steal $5,000.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Would somebody name
Sorry,
only
get to
one
the doomerism part. Hold on one second. I'm going to... Maybe he's got... is there a transcription to this? Yeah. Show transcript. There we go. Patel, state with regulators... aspartame, something about it. Real cheese, real dairy, legal categories. Because hooked to the self-perpetuating cycle. Some sort of he's freaking out about AI slop, and then let's see. You start seeing stuff that's fake, don't pay attention to it. I don't need to belabor the point. Most people watch my show are aware of AI slop and how he feels about it. Really don't care. There are ads like crazy in this horse shit, and they're all transcribed. Yeah, folks, I hope you like it. Go Mox, whatever. Yeah, all right. I like this dude's gonna. Where is he? Halfway through winding it? Hold on.
I don't need to belabor the point. Most people who watch my show are already aware of AI slop and how I feel about it. What's important is recognizing that as much as we like to...
You're watching your show is making me look forward to some. I could really use some AI slop right now just to cleanse the palate.
Dismiss AI slop as a unique phenomenon. It's actually part of a broader trend.
Dun, dun. Sorry. All right, AI slop.
You know, we're surrounded by fakeness, and reality
Are you telling me that's not a real fish and that you never use those oars and that boat was never in the water and it actually it hasn't always been a bookshelf, it was just for little kid Eskimos at some point, and that that hunter's cap back there isn't yours, or that fire isn't real? I don't believe it.
becomes much harder to
I don't believe it.
discern. And this again is everywhere, even if you put your phone down. A few weeks ago, we talked about the home buying process and how many new homes are in very poor condition, even though they were advertised as move-in ready.
Boo fuckity who?
Many homes also have fake wood and fake wood exteriors now, to the point that it's hard to buy a home with.
Yeah, and that's really rough if that's all you really care about when you're buying.
I like wood.
You know what I mean?
Deeper and longer.
Natural wood. You're like,
yeah,
deeper and longer.
Sure. To get stuck with luxury laminate flooring or vinyl flooring instead. And that vinyl flooring is a lot cheaper.
Sorry. Your president just started a fucking war, and we're talking about laminate fucking... All right. This has got to be Operation Distracto Mess. All right. I've got to play another ad for you. This is not an ad for me. This is Trump's idea of the White House is doing everything it can to kind of cover for the fact that Trump is bad in public right now. So they're putting out these little short ads.
Trump saw the tax code crushing family farms and eroding rural economies. So Trump saved the farmer.
Yeah, well, he did save my fucking ears with that fucking tooth whistle sibilance. Jesus Christ.
He saw unfair trade practices, putting farmers at a disadvantage globally. So Trump saved the farmer.
How? By wearing a hat? And also, why are you standing in the New York sewer talking with one of those novelty megaphones, sir? What
He saw burdensome regulations and red tape put a cap on their growth.
So he decided to drink unpasteurized milk from an open jug that someone sat on his desk that had been sitting there for... Never mind, don't get our hopes up.
So Trump saved the farmer.
Yeah? Well, he didn't save his right hand. That fucking...
on their growth.
Speaking of growth...
So Trump...
Look at the fucking paint on the back of his hand right there. Covering the bruisey stuff. I just wouldn't use... Why wouldn't you use the other... Why wouldn't you use another angle?
Save the farmer. He saw lack of energy, stopping them from pursuing and achieving their version of the American dream.
Sorry, farmers lack energy? What do you do? Send them energy drinks or just scare them? Or what did he send? Like, hey, I know you guys can't sell your soybeans, but here's some coal. I'll just dump that on your fucking property. Also, looks like hammered shit. Another, I don't know why they used this shot.
So Trump save the farmer.
Drill, baby, drill. Fuel waivers, RFS rules.
He saw previous administrations take them for granted, set them back.
I got you rich people in the room. Yeah, let me tell you something.
And ultimately ignore them. So Trump saved the farmer.
No, he didn't. And I got to tell you, like, it's bad enough they're using like movie style voiceovers that are clearly 11 Labs, by the way, just complete AI, but which is dickish to start with. But to like make it sound like he's talking through a CB or something, it's patronizing. Period. Like, that's why he thinks like that whole like megaphone choice to make that voice sound like it. He thinks that like poor people have shitty hearing and poor people don't have good stereos, radios, televisions, that kind of stuff. So you kind of lean into the kind of grunt work lifestyle that they're in. They probably use CBs in their fucking trucks, which they absolutely don't. All right, let me grab one other thing. Where is this here? Okay, now, real quick. I don't know if this has an ad. I apologize if it does. I'll pop back if it doesn't. But Joe Kent's on the Alex Jones show, which is apparently dying a horrible death after Alex Jones asked Tim Pool for a lap dance last week. But he's on with whoever this dude is. And
seems to me like there's been a coup.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Seems
to me like
there's been a coup. So this is, by the way, Joe Kent warns the Iran war fiasco appears to be a coup run by Israel. Now, I don't know if it's a coup against the leadership of Iran, in which case it wouldn't have just be a war, or a coup against us, which seems to be the direction they've been leaning. That they're just taking over the presidency because Trump couldn't possibly want to do this.
Coup against America performed by Israel. Is that too
Okay, well, that's what I thought.
extreme of a thing to say?
A year ago, I would have said yeah, but right now at this point, based on what I've seen over the course of the last year, and then when you take that data and you look at basically the trajectory and the history of our wars in the Middle East in my lifetime, at least over the last 25 years, you see Israel has stood to gain from all of them. Israel's advocated for all of these different.
Yeah, he's big on Israel wanted us to go into Iraq. Very curious take on that. Like, of all things, it's like one of the things that Candace Owens gets hung up on. And you're like, yeah, you can follow the money, and I think you're going to end up down a fucking like side street. You're going to get lost.
Wars, but especially in the last year, watching the Israelis come in, move President Trump's red line through the ecosystem I described.
Sorry, they moved his red line? I'm sorry, I didn't realize they were master hypnotists or he has no control over his fucking decision-making capabilities. And if he doesn't, why haven't you done the 25th Amendment? Maybe, why isn't every segment you do about why the 25th Amendment hasn't been kicked in? Because if this asshole is so dopey that the Israelis can walk him around, they can fucking dog walk him by the nose, maybe it's not them. Maybe they just have a goal they wanted to accomplish. That's not the problem. The problem is how willingly and like easily he goes along with it.
And aggressively push this regime change war.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize they were being aggressive.
I don't.
Define the aggression. What'd they do? Ask 7 times instead of 6? All right.
I don't think saying it's a coup is putting it too lightly. I mean, a lot of people.
Of course it is. They're in there right now. Netanyahu's probably in the Oval Office with his feet up. He's probably wearing a Trump mask.
Push back and say, no, it's not a coup whatsoever. We want this. And they'll go back to that same narrative that us and Israel have the same goals. But actually, I think more and more, the more time that goes on in this war that we're in right now, we can see that us and Israel just do not have the same goals.
Based on what? And by the way, who do you mean us? The American people? Of course not. We don't have the same tactical or strategic goals as a country that is within shooting range of Iran, period. That's obvious. The question is, why did Trump go along with it so fucking easily? This is his second time bombing them in less than a year. Marco Rubio just said it's going to be 2 to 6 more weeks.
When the president of the United States gets out there and says he can't say who he's negotiating with in Iran because he's afraid that they'll be killed, and everyone knows he's talking about they'll be killed by the Israelis because the Israelis.
No, not necessarily. He even said they're afraid we'll kill them.
Israelis have been killing the moderates and killing the negotiators. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know.
No, not everything. No. I would, because you don't think the United States could secure their safety? Provide them with a way out and guarantee that Israel doesn't strike their caravan of vehicles as they go to a third-party nation like Pakistan or something like that? You don't think we could do that?
And then also what Secretary Rubio and many others said at the beginning of the war, that we had to attack because we knew the Israelis were going to attack, which would result in attacks on our forces. The obvious question, I think, of anybody who's not even deeply steeped in foreign policy would be like, well, hey, who's calling the shots here? And that seems weird because we pay for Israel essentially to be able to defend itself.
All right. Anyways, just fucking dumb. Let me show you something real quick. And this leads into Marco Rubio. Let's see. Speaking, where is he? Where are you, Marco? Marco numero dos. Where are you? I'll just go ahead here. Rubio G7 remarks. Yeah, here he is. full address. This is him speaking outside of the place.
And we're very clear, as we've been from the very beginning. The objectives of this mission have been clear from the very first night the president announced it. We're going to...
No, they haven't. We're going to get rid of their nuclear program, which we apparently obliterated last year. They've been absurd since the beginning.
Destroy Iran's navy. We've destroyed their air force. We're going to basically destroy their ability to make missiles and drones in their factories. And we're going to substantially, and I mean dramatically, reduce the number of missile launchers so that they cannot hide behind these things to build a nuclear weapon and threaten the world. As the Department of War has consistently outlined, we are on or ahead of schedule in that operation.
But we've got to punt the date a little bit. We're on or ahead of schedule with that stuff, but the other stuff, like we didn't plan for, is going to take a little longer.
And expect to conclude it at the appropriate time here in a matter of weeks, not months. And the progress is going very well. Obviously, we have some work to do. We have to finish the job, and we are finishing that job. I did describe to our allies, however, that immediately after this thing ends, we're done with our...
Oh, right. This is the whole thing. So Trump is bitching, apparently, that our NATO allies don't want to come in until the war is over. Meanwhile, that's actually the negotiating point that Rubio has been talking about with them.
Objectives. One of the immediate challenges we're going to face is an Iran that may decide that they want to set up a tolling system in the Straits of Hormuz. Not only is this illegal, it's unacceptable. It's dangerous to the world. And it's important that the world have a plan to confront it. The United States is prepared to be a part of that plan. We don't have to lead that plan, but we're happy to be a part of it. But these countries have a lot at stake. Not just the G7 countries, but countries in Asia and all over the world have a lot at stake and should contribute greatly to that effort to ensure that neither the Straits of Hormuz or, frankly, any international waterways should ever be something that's controlled or tolled by a nation state or by a terroristic government like the one that exists in Iran today in that radical clerical regime. So there seemed to be a lot of buy-in to that concept. There's a lot of work happening right now. The UK has played a prominent role in bringing that together, but other countries as well. And there seems to be a lot of acceptance of all that. And our allies and partners here, at least to me, seem to be appreciative of updates on our operation. And
yeah, they're very appreciative of when we tell them anything the fuck that's going on.
And an understanding of what lies ahead over the next few weeks. Okay?
Those couple of weeks, how seriously is the United States considering deploying ground troops? And in those couple of weeks, what exactly will you be doing?
I won't discuss military tactics. I don't think anyone in our system is going to talk to you about what we have planned or what we intend to do, and there's obvious reasons for it. But to the extent it has to do with like military tactics and plans, I would refer you to the Department of War, and the Department of War is probably going to tell you they can't tell you anything. So other than to say that we have objectives, I've told you what those objectives are, and we are very confident that we are on the verge of achieving them very, very soon.
What are your objectives? My objectives? I object to taking a girl out and giving her a nice dinner, and she won't put out. Every minute you don't tell us the truth, I cut off a finger. Mine or yours? Yours. Damn.
Any of the G7 were upset or off-put at all by the president's comments about it? And
they never act that way in front of me. Maybe they say that to you guys, and maybe they say that in other interviews or when they go in the press, but not in front of me they don't. I never get that. On the contrary, these meetings are oftentimes about thanking America for the role we played in trying to bring peace in Sudan. The recognition that the president...
Sorry, they're falling over themselves to thank them... to thank us for doing what we've done in Sudan, which is fucking nothing.
President played a key role in ending what was happening in Gaza. Recognition of the role...
Yeah, it hasn't ended.
We've played in stabilizing Syria. Recognition, despite what they may have said in the press, that what we did in Venezuela was good for the world and good for our region in the Western Hemisphere. A recognition of the role we played in setting up, along with others like Canada, the gang suppression force in Haiti. So, and appreciation for the mediating role we've tried to play in this war between Russia and Ukraine. So
we've tried to play. Right. You made the one phone call Trump made and then it just didn't work out, so fuck it.
I don't know. I mean, you guys ask me these questions like if I go into these meetings and these people are angry, no one there screams or raises their voice or says anything.
Yeah, it's a diplomatic meeting, shithead.
Negative. And if they did, I would remind them, but I don't need to, but I would remind them of the role America's played over the last year. It's been a very productive role and very helpful to them. And I would just say this, and I said this yesterday, I'll say it again now. Iran...
What, how did we help NATO with their last invasion? The last time they invaded a country? What'd we do? When NATO invaded a country? When did that happen? When did we not join in when NATO invaded a country? I know it's a trick question. They never have.
It's not the Iranian people. The Iranian people are phenomenal people. They deserve way better than what they have, which is a radical Shia clerical
That's right. We're going to bring democracy to their country, goddammit. And oh, wait.
Regime that has basically taken that country's wealth and used it not to build roads and bridges, not to build healthcare systems or universities, not to build a better, more prosperous country. They've used the wealth of that country to sponsor terrorism, build rockets, build drones, build missiles, build sea mines. That's what they've done with it, and try to kill people all over the world. And this has to be dealt with. That country was a threat for 47 years. Okay, that regime has been.
Yeah, sorry. We can't preemptively strike a country because it's an abject threat, like or an abstract threat. Otherwise, now do North Korea. What's the justification for any country not having a nuke right now?
Trying to kill and has been killing Americans all over the world for 47 years. We have a president that was not going to allow that to continue unfettered. So when we are done, Iran was already weak. When we are done with them here in the next couple of weeks, they will be weaker than they've been
in the next couple of weeks.
Recent history, and they will not be able to hide behind those weapons to break out and get a nuclear weapon, which would be crazy. For these people to ever get nuclear weapons would be crazy. Look what they're willing to do with the weapons they have now. They hit embassies, they target hotels, they try to kill civilians.
We put our soldiers in hotels. There were news stories about the fact that we moved our soldiers into hotels. Do I think they're good guys? Do I think they give a shit to think they're not attacking hotels because they're fucking monsters? No. But one of the other reasons might be that there are news stories that we are parking our soldiers that might be preparing for a ground invasion, that might be part of a boots on the ground thing in hotels in these countries to hide the fact that they're there so that they don't show up on the base and everybody can see it. So they move them in and act like they're just visiting.
They splash out at all their neighbors. Imagine if these radical lunatics had a nuclear weapon to threaten the world with.
Secretary of Russia, Ukraine, you tweeted out that you conveyed the president's commitment to a ceasefire and negotiate a settlement. Is ceasefire back on the table now?
In where?
In Russia,
Russia, Ukraine. Yeah, we always want to see. We want to see the end of that war. I don't know why that's been a question.
It's not a question. Back on the table means, are the Russians and the Ukrainians up for it, shithead? Not whether we'd like it to end. All right, he's always been dumb, but you get the point. Specifically, am I all right? Yeah, I'm doing okay on time. I want to share with you, if I may, where is it? Pancorio. Back to this. You know, things are going a little rough when the 700 Club is starting to get upset. And I'm sure, by the way, my guess, what do you guys think? My guess is how Iran's regime could win is if we chicken out and don't go far enough and kill everybody. You know, what would Jesus blow up? Also, nice, shitty AI image.
Well, welcome to the 700 Club.
President
Trump continues to keep the military pressure on Iran. At the same time, the president said he will hold off on attacks on Iran's energy sector for another 10 days.
Well, there's wait. Taco.
The news comes as the Pentagon is considering sending 10,000 more ground troops to the Middle East. Chris Mitchell brings us the story.
1 second. What was that again?
Sending 10,000.
Another 10 days.
The news comes as the Pentagon is considering sending 10,000 more ground troops.
10,000 more. 10,000 more ground troops. Oh, on top of the 2,500 and then the 3,000 and then 10,000. Sorry, what was that again?
The news comes as the Pentagon is considering sending 10,000 more ground troops to the Middle East.
They're just considering it, are they? Oh, great. Okay.
Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
President Trump made the announcement on Truth Social. Let this statement serve to represent that I am pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6, 20.
Because we just don't have the munitions for it.
26 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others,
including the Iranians,
they are going very well.
unless you talk to the Iranian.
At Thursday's White House cabinet meeting, Trump described Iran's position.
They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal.
They're begging to make a deal. I don't need to make a deal. I don't need a deal. They need a deal. This is a deal. Okay.
And anybody that saw what was happening over there would understand why they want to make a deal.
No, they wouldn't. As a matter of fact, I could understand why they would be more entrenched than ever and pissed and decide, fuck the deal, let's just go for it.
Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff said talks are moving forward with the government of Pakistan acting as a mediator.
Oh, you mean the owner of the 8 ships that left that Trump thinks were a gift to him?
Report to you today that we have, along with your foreign policy team, presented a 15-point action list that forms the framework for a peace deal.
That's wonderful. A 15-point action list, you say, and it forms the framework in sort of a jello mold kind of a sense for a peace deal. You don't have a deal yet. You're not dealing. You gave them your terms. So that's, and who precisely did you send this shit to?
This has been circulated through the Pakistani government.
Oh, okay. So the Pakistanis have it. And they gave it to who?
Acting as the mediator.
To who?
And this has resulted in strong and positive messaging in talks.
Between us and the Pakistanis?
As part of those talks, Trump said Iran sent a gift of 8 oil tankers and then increased it to 10.
And I think they were Pakistani flagged.
Right. Because they have a relationship strategically, religiously, economically with Pakistan. They didn't let those boats fucking through. You did, you dumb motherfucker.
And
also,
I said, well,
he came back from Graceland with like fucking televangelist hair. I don't know if does the 700 Club have like a televangelist hair filter that they put on? Because this is as Benny Hinn as it gets.
I guess we're dealing with the right people. And actually, they then apologized for something they said, and they said, we're going to send 2 more boats. And it ended up being 10 boats.
Also, no.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned about the nature of Iran's regime.
The people that run this country are radical Shia clerics. These are religious fanatics.
Yeah, we're aware of that. That's always been true.
Look what they are doing now. At their weakest point, this is the weakest Iran has ever been.
Debatable.
And look at what they're doing. They're attacking embassies. They're attacking hotels.
Because we're also operating on the idea that they had all these horrible munitions, ships, tanks, missile launching systems, anti-aircraft apparatus, as Trump likes to say. They had all these things, and we blew them up. I'm starting to be concerned that this might be similar to the numbers of 25 million illegals that came into the country. Maybe they never existed in the first place. And much like Russia, Iran was bluffing about a lot of what it has, not unlike Iraq back in the day, and that we haven't actually blown up half of this shit. And the stuff that they do have is hidden and yet to be launched. They had an initial volley, but they're basically waiting us out. And then as soon as we stop, then they're going to let it fly.
Imagine what these people would do if they had a nuclear weapon. That is an unacceptable risk for
Yeah, but I thought we obliterated that last year.
the world. By the way,
Look at Trump. Like, what time do I get a fruit cup? I want the fruit cup.
the president's not just doing a favor to the United States and to our people. This is for the world.
And the U.S. and Israel are
Gee, thanks.
keeping up the military pressure.
Fruit cup.
The Wall Street Journal reports the Pentagon is considering sending another.
Another. Another. So that tells us what? That there's already 10,000 additional troops that they've sent? That this is like the second or third time?
10,000 ground troops to the Middle East. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu
here seen in a Sora video that's just about to be taken down,
announced that the IDF had taken out the head of Iran's Navy.
This man has a lot of blood on his hands, and he's also the one who led the closure of the Strait
but enough about me.
of Hormuz.
CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper said the commander
And the biggest ears in the U.S. government, aside from the NASA leader,
was
our NASA administrator,
specially designated global terrorist. He also called on every Iranian serving in the IRGC Navy to immediately abandon their post and
all right, well, that'll do it.
Return home
and turn in their white socks
to avoid further risk of unnecessary injury or death.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice.
Meanwhile, in a sign of desperation, the Iranian regime
are putting out sexy videos.
Launched a recruiting campaign to add 1 million fighters and lowered the draft age to 12 years old.
Sorry, what? Lower the draft age to what?
1 million fighters and lowered the draft age to 12 years old.
12. 12. I mean, I guess if you're gonna have, human shields that are children, why not just, give them a living wage while they're at it? 12 years old. The draft has been dropped to 12.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, joining us now is Jonathan Schanzer. He's,
or as some people like to say it, Jerusalem,
the executive director with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. And welcome back to the.
Sorry, if I do more than like 6 minutes of 700 Club, I start to doze off, and it gets really painful. Also, I'm going to, do we check in on this? Hold on, let me punt this, whatever. Okay. This is dink, whoops. Okay, there it is. The hidden knowledge grift. How does it work? We must find out. We will find out right now. Hold on. Let's go to this. Remember this guy? Bungholio, who was looking for a teepee for his bunghole.
Can you not come to the conclusion that everyone else, I'm not talking to the Bongino Army folks, you guys have forgotten it for a long time.
Yeah, you've forgotten it for a long time.
This is all a scam.
Uh-oh, what is? Sorry, I guess I jumped ahead too far. So what's the scam? Oh, Anna and Cenk being on your side?
Is they're paid to sell their own identity out. None of the things that she says is true. I guess they get paid handsomely. I don't know how they sleep at night.
That's at Dan Burmay. But listen, thanks for
Square Sheeswees
the video. Folks, would you see those videos?
All right, we got to watch the whole thing now. What is it? You're going to tell me the Young Turks aren't honest purveyors of knowledge?
All of a sudden, they're huge Candace Owens fans. It's almost like these people have no...
Oh, I see. Right. There we go. All right, now I know.
Principles. Check this out.
No, I'm not going to denounce Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. Yeah, I said it, Candace. You're the worst of the worst. You're a sellout. No, we don't have to denounce her at all, okay? You're a scum of the earth. None of that money is worth it. None of it is worth it.
There is a concerted effort to make Candace Owens look like she's absolutely insane, but
yeah, but mostly by Candace, but still.
It looks like Candace Owens was onto something. Candace Owens is not someone that anyone takes seriously, including people on the right. The people accusing her of being crazy are the real insane people. Candace Owens, who once argued that the problem with Hitler was his love for globalization and not the fact that he slaughtered 6 million Jewish people.
Don't come at me about denouncing Candace Owens until you denounce Jared Kushner.
People like Candace Owens lead pathetic lives because they're paid.
Why do they have to be mutually exclusive? Can I hate both those fuckers?
To sell their own identity out. None of the things that she says is true. I guess they get paid handsomely. I don't know how they sleep at night.
That's at Dan Burmay.
Yeah, don't. Reading is fun and dumb and mental. Also, by the way, can't people change their mind? Just saying.
But listen, thanks for the video. Folks, when you see those videos side by side, how can you not come to the conclusion that everyone else, I'm not talking to the Bongino Army folks, you guys have forgotten it for a long time.
Yeah, you've known that Candace Owens, you thought she was on the good side when they hated her, and now that they like her, you know she's on the bad side. So, but you haven't changed your mind. The you're dealing with reality. They're scam artists.
This is all a scam.
Sure. Well, I mean, why don't you just rename the show then?
This is a left-wing virus inserted into a right-wing host trying to cause chaos and distrust amongst everybody in our own tent. So all it is this the Spider-Man
meme where they're pointing at each other. Also, no, it isn't, because they wouldn't be Spider-Man in this situation. You think of them as Doc Ock. So if they're the opposition isn't just like you, it's not
that you see on X all the time. You did it, or it's Spider-Man pointing to Spider-Man. If you've been there, I'm sorry, I talk in memes a lot. I do.
Yeah, you don't. I don't know that that's talking in memes. You describe them poorly.
We spend a lot of time on some of these platforms doing show prep.
You mean you read a lot of X posts before your show starts? No shit.
This is all this is. It is so obvious.
Also, what the fuck do you guys care what TYT says? They're our burden, not yours. Is this how you just avoid dealing with the people on the right, like Tucker and others, about this?
They want to create distrust. The best way to create distrust, there it is, thank you. For those of you who are not online, chronically.
Yeah, okay.
As much. I probably have more screen time than Haley. I'll have to compare that sometime. Well, I don't know. She says she's the queen of screen time. Folks, when you create distrust, even in people you have trusted in the past who've been there in the fights, and you have no reason to distrust.
You mean like Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, you, Donald Trump? No, I'm just fucking with you.
All of a sudden, people have to look for another place to put their loyalty or their faith and fidelity in some other cause. And
so they're going to go to TYT now. That's where you think. So the horseshoe has completely turned into a hoop.
That cause is conveniently led by people who are telling you, hey, either buy my merch here or subscribe to my show here. I want to show you what the hidden knowledge problem.
The hidden knowledge problem. So this is from a show called The Hidden Knowledge Grift. Okay. This I've got to say it's I don't know. Usually when they bring shit up like this, it's about esoteric and demon worship and I don't know what the fuck. But the hidden knowledge grift, I think he means that like I know something that you don't know and you should subscribe to my show to find it out, which is exactly how this asshole has operated his show from the fucking beginning. And now that he kicked his own ass out of the FBI, he's pretending to not have inside knowledge, which he absolutely has. But he's pretending he doesn't to protect Donald Trump from the Epstein files.
Causes in people, how they fold under even a modicum of pressure. I've never met these guys, but I saw this morning. A friend of mine, one of my old producers,
Hodge twins,
sent this over. This is a debate, a snippet of it. It's about a minute. It's not very long. Between Andrew Wilson and Zach Costello. I'm not going to say anything in advance. I just want you to think about this in terms of what chaos and hidden knowledge looks like when people actually ask you to produce said hidden knowledge and back up your claims. This is exactly what it looks like in a back and forth. This is Dan's favorite video of the day, talking about myself in the third person. Check this out.
He didn't necessarily give any evidence, but what he encouraged was the idea that, again, there are that the concerns that many of us have are in fact legitimate.
Well, no, he didn't. That's a lie. Like, you're just lying. He didn't actually give any evidence which would show that your concerns are legitimate. That's
I'm so glad he gave us context for what the shit these assholes are talking about. I guess the assumption is that his viewers would know. This is quality programming.
Literally not true.
At least I moved back to kind of figure out what the fucking topic is.
Ooh, I don't even know why you would say that. It is actually factually not true that Joe Kent gave any evidence
that he expressed his own
concerns. Hang on. Let me make the point. Okay. It is not, in fact, the case that Joe Kent validated any concerns of yours or Candace's or Ian Carroll's with evidence of any kind whatsoever. So where's the validation that he just feels this way? That's the validation. I just feel that way. Is that the
No.
validation, dude?
No, he said in the interview with Mark Levin that there is evidence that he was not able to share because it was classified.
Oh, well, that's really convenient.
But it's also true.
So no
I
evidence.
love when these guys fight. I really don't give a shit. I hope they fucking chew each other's assholes out. It doesn't matter. But I love watching them trying to, like, it's probably best we just kind of like chip away at arguments on both sides. One is, yeah, of course it's very convenient, but it's also very true. And it's what Dan Bongino, specifically Bongolio, hides behind on his own show as to why he can't share certain shit. He can just go, well, I feel this way, and you're going to have to trust me on this, folks, because I can't talk about it. So Bongolio is on Andrew Wilson's side in this situation, and he's against Zach Costello in this situation. This is where we're working it out. And the argument here is that you can't just trust somebody because they say, trust me, bro, because they had access to information and they can't share it because it's confidential, which is exactly the point Bongolio is making about all these things. So essentially, Andrew Wilson, if I can shorten his argument to something bite-sized, is saying that Dan Bongino is a fucking liar and full of shit and is dumb, and anybody who listens to him is a sucker.
Then again,
why? I guess.
So hang on, I just want to make sure I got this right. So you're saying no evidence, right? That's what you're actually saying.
No, I'm not saying.
Okay, so what's the evidence? What's the evidence that he gave
access to? I'm
So
saying
what's
there's
the
no evidence that we have access to.
Then you don't have evidence.
Well, okay, neither do you. You don't have any evidence that.
Yeah,
Tyler
well, no,
Robinson
I do.
killed Charlie Kirk.
I have the evidence that the state has released thus far.
Okay.
You have a counterclaim to the state. You have a burden of evidence now, too, to refute the state.
This is about the death of Charlie Kirk, I'd like to remind you. This is not about fucking people trying to corral Jan 6ers and deny them their due process. This is not about fucking Hunter Biden and some mysterious laptop. This is about Charlie Kirk's murder last year. They are fighting about who did it and whether Erica Kirk was in on it as a plot to fucking murder her own husband.
You saying I don't have
on behalf of Israel, neocons, the deep state, somebody, fucking the Pentaverate, we don't know.
Access to evidence that the state has access to is not an argument for your evidence.
Folks, process. Innocent till proven guilty. Due process.
Right. There's a trial going on in Utah. Sure.
The government being forced to supersede some burden of proof before they come in and kick your freaking door in.
What a weird idea. Apparently, Republicans are against that right now. It's why they won't, align with Democrats to pass DHS funding.
The Democrats want the opposite. They've already done it by...
What's your evidence?
Weaponizing the government, the guns and the badges against Donald Trump and the rest of us. We want to go back to that. And
sorry, the rest of us? First of all, prove that it was weaponized against him. He took classified documents he shouldn't have had access to. He was using them for personal enrichment. He didn't return them when he was supposed to. He's clearly using it as leverage, he literally showed the Iran attack plan that he's using right now to Mark Meadows' biographer at Mar-a-Lago. Showed it to him. Classified plans. It's on tape. Where's the weaponization? The weaponization would arguably be in the fact that anybody else doing that would go to jail. That was their complaint about Hillary Clinton, right? Any of the rest of us would be in jail for 30 years.
Shit on the process and throw it out the window and just say it's all about the freaking feels now? It's not about the feels.
Yeah, but I don't know that the Zach guy was making an argument that it's about the feels. It's that they didn't feel like they don't feel like they can look into the alternate evidence, or they believe something is hidden from them, and they would like a broader investigation than they feel like they are getting, whether they deserve it or not, or whether there's anything to be found. They're not looking to convict someone based on those feels. They are wanting that information to be shared, or somebody to have access to it, or something like that. I don't think they're looking to be judge, jury, and executioner. But maybe you're projecting. I don't know.
It's about saving everything that has made this country actually unique.
Yeah, that's why we want body cams on the ICE officers. You're so close and yet so dumb. All right, can I show you something else, chat room? I want to share this with you because I watched this earlier. Normally, I don't pre-watch anything, but this ties into what we're talking about in terms of what those two dickheads were talking about and what he's flipping out about. Was that Candace Owens is doing this constant series about Erica Kirk being in on the murder, and she drags like other people in. See if I can find where she's. Candace Owens. She's such a weirdo, and here we go. I have to scroll back past all the AI videos that I have watched. Not made by AI, but about. Well, maybe I'll just do a search in these things. There's a Candace. Dunk. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this was it. Viral is the title of this one. Viral. It's okay. This is the title of this episode. This is amongst the right. Okay. And again, I want to stack this with, do you think any of them thought they were going to be having this argument a year ago? Here we go. This is viral. She insists it might not be viral, but it should be, I guess. Maybe it's that easy these days. It's okay not to believe a word Erica Kirk says. That's the title. It's okay to call the dead guy's wife a liar. Now, where's this part? Where's this guy? So she goes through this whole thing with, here it is. So with apparently the police officers, the whole thing is like, where was one guy from Turning Points USA and he hugged Erica. He said he hugged her on the tarmac, but they couldn't have been in the city at the same time. And this is part of the timeline she's been all hinky about and yada, yada. Okay. But she cites this other guy. And I want you to take in real quick that this is not, again, about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Kamala Harris. This isn't about Democrats and Minnesota fraud or any kind of shit that they've been throwing around. This is internal to their own, civil war.
Actually, I'll allow Baron Coleman to tell you why it matters.
Okay. Baron Coleman is going to tell us why it matters when the airplanes that these people were on when they arrived, because if they hugged on the tarmac, then what?
Why does this matter? Great question. Here's why it matters.
Okay.
Because if Andrew left Santa Barbara before Charlie got shot, then...
Is he part of Paula White's church, by the way? Jerk off and jerk off and jerk off.
There was a plot to kill him.
Okay, so that's the point. Sorry, I stepped on it a little bit.
Andrew left Santa Barbara before Charlie got shot, then there was a plot to kill him. That's why it matters. If Andrew left Santa Barbara before Charlie got shot, there was a plot to kill Charlie Kirk, and Andrew knew about it. That's why it matters. In my opinion.
Or materially, I think, wouldn't it be, if it's a matter of time? I mean, time isn't a matter of opinion yet.
There's evidence that might have been the case and that they've been lying to us the entire time. That's why it matters.
Damn.
Precisely, Baron. It matters because it suggests, it does not conclude, okay, but it suggests, certainly, that there may have been some sort of a foreknowledge, because for what other reason would Andrew be sitting on a tarmac just about to fly to Scottsdale when Charlie gets shot? For what other reason would he be taxiing on a runway? Because that's what it would have had to been. I think it takes off 5 minutes after Charlie shot. So you have to be taxiing, right? When Charlie gets shot. Now, if I was playing devil's advocate, and it's good to play that.
Maybe they were planning on doing something after the rally together. And that timing would basically, as soon as he was done, he would fly to Scottsdale, pick her up, and then they would fly there because they were going to have dinner in Salt Lake City or some shit after leaving Provo, that they had plans for the evening and they have access to these things and they fly a lot and they do this kind of shit. And I think the way you would check it is to see if they've ever met up from different places after one of these high profile things, or one of the other ones to talk with, chapter presidents or shit like that. I'm fucking with you. It's probably a plot.
You should remember that you are therefore advocating for the devil. I would say, Well, turning points in Arizona. Maybe, he did the first hour of his show live, and maybe he had a meeting or something.
Sure. Yeah, that would go there.
Just
dinner. Maybe it's just nice to hang out in Scottsdale.
His PR team's there, a lot going on. It's the beginning of the tour. Maybe he was just actually traveling to Scottsdale. But if that was the case, they wouldn't be hiding it.
Maybe they diverted in the air. Real quick, does the airplane have any communications equipment on it?
This would not be something to hide or to lie about, right? You would just be like, oh yeah, I hugged Erica on the tarmac when I got to Scottsdale. It's crazy. It's crazy coincidence. I was like flying to Scottsdale and Charlie got shot. You come right out with that. So yeah, I am suggesting that they all met up at Scottsdale Airport. My very strong opinion is that is what transpired on that day based on the evidence that is sitting before us. Because I will tell you what did not happen. Andrew did not sit in Santa Barbara for 3.5 hours twiddling his thumbs.
Also, it's not a 3.5 hour flight from San Francisco to Scottsdale. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm allergic to bullshit.
Before then finding a plane that could get him to Provo. It's pretty easy to get a private jet.
Is it? Is it?
It's a nonsense narrative.
Eric, they're just sitting around, are they?
Similarly, did not wait until 4:30 for him to arrive at the tarmac and then hug him on the tarmac to greet him in Provo and then head to the hospital with him. We now know that officially did not.
The ghost just walked through me, apparently.
Happen. The timeline does not work because of what Andrew told me happened and what the police scanner is saying about when Erica was picked up.
She was picked up at 3:30, apparently.
So what is much more likely is that they met at the Scottsdale airport. All of them, they communicated in person, perhaps in the unmarked building. And then they all...
It's owned by the CIA.
Traveled...
Or maybe not, it isn't.
Together.
But probably is.
To Provo aboard Charlie's plane. Cell phones off.
That's right. For takeoff and landing.
That's my theory.
Why would you turn your cell phone off on a plane other than that's what everybody always does?
And I'm going to put out another APB here regarding who Charlie's pilot was, okay?
All points bullshit or what? Okay, sorry.
I know that his first name is Jamie, but that's all I know. I think he might be from Texas.
Oh my God, he works...
Texas, and I would like...
Oh my God. Joe Rogan's tech producer is Charlie Kirk's pilot. That explains so much.
To know more about Jamie, I would like to reach out to Jamie. Does anybody know more information about who Jamie the pilot is? Because I think
she's got tips at Candace Owens, but she had to start a whole other email account. More tips at Candace Owens. I've been sending it to just the tip at Candace Owens. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh God. Yeah, so you get the point. Like the whole back and forth about this shit. Let me see if this. Okay, she put together this. Let me show you this. Minute by minute timeline. Minute by minute by minute. I'll be holding on. Put it. Minute by minute. This is how it went down.
Social post.
Oh, this is where she's already at the Truth Social post. How long is this? She's been going through this whole fucking thing. Okay.
But I think it's relevant. We saw it today that departs from Page, Arizona for Provo, because I remember that Page, Arizona, that was that N888 flight that was very strange. It was also going back and forth from.
Yeah, it was a weird plane. It had no wings, man. It was painted green, and then it would turn teal when it got in the sky. Nobody could even see it. Only the ghost of Dennis Hopper was the pilot.
Page. So I just wonder what was going on in Page, Arizona.
Well, let's turn the page. Let's see. What do we know about Page, Arizona? Should we throw a little? Let me guess. It's right outside of that area. It's in Antelope Valley. Page, Arizona is a city in Coconino County in Arizona. It's near the Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Powell. It has 7,440 people in it. And let's go to, is there a map? There's got to be a map. Here's a map. I'll open this up, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the map. This is Page, Arizona. And then let's see, we'll go scrolling backwards out. I'm sleuthing. Page, Arizona's Flagstaff. And whoops. Flagstaff, here you go. Phoenix, Tucson. Flagstaff. This Page is right on the border of Utah. Look, they were hiding just over the border. That's what they were doing. That's right. Super sketchy, right? They were probably there to visit the Grand Canyon. Um, they were in Tube Steak City for a little while. I'm sorry, Tuba City. There's Flagstaff, Sedona, Phoenix, Chandler, the whole thing. Tucson. There's the reservations, the Hopi Reservation, which I don't know why they don't show these as gaps in the country because they're not actually American territory, but whatever. Monument Valley, this guy, Coral Deuce, yeah. It's all very hinky. There's Page. Is it a coincidence that it's right over the border, right there? And then I suppose a big canyon, the Wahweap overlook is there. Very pretty, lovely. Want to visit there now. Thanks, Candace. There's clearly something sketchy going on in Page, Arizona.
On that day. Then we know that Marina Mines is going to ask Aubrey to draft the death statement. She says that Andrew was on a plane. I think actually he had his phone off.
Oh, this whole thing, like their phone was off and they talked to somebody to draft a death statement when they didn't know he was actually dead. Even though word was immediately when they told people that this is not good.
I think they had their phones off. Justin Stripe.
Most people, I think myself included, most people, when I saw the footage of him, I was like, when he got shot, I was like, he's not going to survive that. That was a jugular hit. And it went it popped into his body. It was really horrifying to watch. Poor guy. And there was nobody was fucking running up there and suturing that shit shut immediately, which is what it would have taken to even give him a shot.
Is going to send,
no pun intended, I'm sorry,
the email that was drafted by Aubrey and
at Living
announcing Charlie's death to the entire Turning Point USA staff at 2:27, 2:31. Charlie's plane, I believe, with all of them on it, departs from Scottsdale. And
notice that she doesn't have actually when he was shot on the timeline. Does that seem weird? Wouldn't that stand out? Wouldn't you want, since all these are referential to it, wouldn't you put in when he died?
Heads for Utah.
By the way, I think it's tragic when anybody is shot for their beliefs. I think it's terrible. We will have a trial of Tyler Robinson, and a jury of his peers will decide if he's guilty or not. And the state will make its case, and the defense will make its case. And the defense are a bunch of assholes because they just did that woman who poisoned her husband in Utah. They just did her case, and they were not good. And those are his attorneys, and he's kind of stupid. They're kind of stupid. So I don't think Tyler Robinson has much of a shot. No pun intended. Why do I keep doing that? Because his defense team are some of the dumbest people I've ever seen. If anybody watched that case in Utah, Summer was watching it, and they're pretty awful.
At 2:40, President Trump announces that Charlie has died via a Truth Social post.
Sinkhole.
And then that flight that I unidentified lands into Provo from Page at 2:48. Then we have from the police cruiser, from the police scanner, that Erica, Elizabeth, and Tyler, and Stacey Sheridan and co. are going to be escorted to Timpanogos Hospital. And what I will say is I don't believe Andrew went with them. I think Andrew waited for an hour on the tarmac for his wife. And I believe that 436 plane.
Oh, so he wasn't hugging Andrew or Eric at all. He was hugging his own wife, and he got mixed up because they're all blonde.
As my memory serves, is that he
makes sense.
He said, "Yeah, of course, I want you to come," to his wife, because
who wouldn't say that to their wife?
That's just what I remember him saying, and I immediately thought his wife scrambled and went to Provo a bit later. I believe she then lands on that 436 plane from Santa Barbara, and then Andrew and her go to the hospital and go through a different entrance, the front entrance, and not the one that Erica and Elizabeth McCoy and Stacey Sheridan and Catherine Lowe Castro and Tyler Boyer.
Because it was sketchy that they snuck in and avoided the press.
Went through. This is my thesis that
Yeah, I don't care. By the way, can you imagine this lunatic crawling up your ass about the death of your husband or something like this? And I'm not a fan of Erica Kirk by any means or Turning Point USA. I think the entire organization is a fraud and is atrocious. And but still, like just on a human level, can you imagine if someone had this doggedly climbed up your ass about this? I mean, woof, the whole thing. She does not seem confident of any of these facts. Well, I think that's partly to keep from being sued. There've been a couple of lawsuits, and so I think they're all kind of pulling the "I'm just asking questions" horseshit. You know what I'm talking about? Where they fall into that Tucker Carlson does a lot. Speaking of which, I got a couple minutes left before we can throw it over to Tara Devlin, who doesn't need rock, and then I've got to race out the door. There is no Patreons. There is no stand-up show tonight because the nature of me trying to be in two places at once with Summer, I couldn't do it. So appreciate it. Anyways, it's bad enough that I have to be gone tomorrow during the day. I get back, like I'm basically doing a 24-hour there and back again, red-eyeing in and then flying back at 8 o'clock if I can make the flight after the No Kings rally in Chicago, because I agreed to do it a long time ago and I feel bad about missing it. And anyways, so thank you for understanding. Meanwhile, Tucker says he's been threatened and by someone who's choking the Statue of Liberty. I've been threatened. And apparently that's this person and the Fist of Liberty who's squishing the whatever. But he's being threatened. He might die, okay? They might come after him. They might send a demon to his house to scratch his bottom again.
The thing that you should be paying attention to.
Okay, tell me what I should be paying attention to.
Is the change in American authority and the level of power our authorities domestically here in the U.S. feel like they can assume.
Yeah, we looked at Project 2025. We said Trump would be a fascist or an authoritarian or a dictator, pick your poison. And so far, nailed it.
Because that always expands during war.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Obama didn't expand it during war. Bush did. You could argue that Obama curtailed some of it during that time. Bush's, his extension of it was largely Cheney's idea. And also like a level of like heightened security, for example, around a war, even if it's reasonable, it should be, is expected. That doesn't necessarily mean it's authoritarian. It's just that you're in the middle of a war. There could be subterfuge. There could be terrorism. There could be saboteurs.
Wartime leaders become authoritarian, every single one of them. Every single one of them.
No, they don't. No, they do not. No, they have to take more cautions and more care, but that doesn't make them, ethically or morally an authoritarian from the start, because they would stay that the rest of their time in office, and many of them don't.
And
I mean, your guys do. Don't get me wrong. Republicans cross the board, but I understand how you're trying to lay this off on everybody else.
And authorities below the executive also become authoritarian.
Well, who gives a shit if the president doesn't allow him to do it or the Congress doesn't allow him to do it?
Did you know that in 1942...
Tara just went live? Okay, a couple minutes and then I'll send over here.
When Franklin Roosevelt issued his famous executive order to intern about 120,000 Japanese Americans, mostly in the West, Oregon, Washington, California, in concentration camps. Did you know the most interesting fact of that?
Internment camps also. There's a difference that matters, because an internment camp, not arguing that either are good, but internment camps are specifically to intern people temporarily. A concentration camp is to get everyone together so that you can kill them. And there is a very distinct difference between the two. Legally,
decision is often omitted from it. The overwhelming majority of them were American citizens.
Why do you think people don't know that?
Actual citizens.
Yeah, we actually know that Japanese Americans exist. That's why it was the internment of Japanese Americans.
or legal residents, but 2/3 were American citizens with full citizenship.
Right. We know that's part of what made it awful. Yes, we're aware.
Who'd been.
But also, the Japan of that time was not the Japan of now. They were, there was a very much closer relationship to, say, the Japanese populace in Japan, following the Emperor of Japan, like the hardliners in Iran following the Ayatollah. It was very different back then, and people were very concerned that they might have those loyalties. So it didn't come out of nowhere. And the Japanese at that time were also like, there were articles in the paper where Japanese generals were having a contest in the newspaper in Japan about how many Chinese people they could behead in 24 hours. This is not justifying it, but it didn't happen in a fucking vacuum, you weirdo. Also, we weren't ignorant to the fact that it occurred, or that Japanese Americans were the vast majority of those people. No shit. If you'll recall, Hollywood, which you think has a liberal bent, put a wonderfully heartbreaking story inside the original Karate Kid movie about how Mr. Miyagi's wife and child died during childbirth while they were in an internment camp, while he was fighting, while he was killing Jerry Germans, right? His wife and child died in an internment camp. That was part of the story. And you've been shitting on Hollywood forever for exactly those kinds of storylines.
Convicted of no crime, hadn't even been charged with a crime.
Right. It wasn't about a crime. They weren't being imprisoned. They were being interned for the period of the war, or until they could be vetted and released, and that kind of stuff. That's why there's a difference. It's why the words mean something different. It's why it wasn't a concentration camp. And it's also like playing on our fucking the fact that this motherfucker thinks we're as ignorant about this topic as he is fucking gross.
But they were thrown into concentration camps for 3 years.
Internment camps. And there's a difference between concentration camps, and I wouldn't have a problem with that, and I would let it go, except for you don't think the concentration camps in Europe were that big a fucking deal. So, fuck off. He's not making a lack of distinction between an internment camp and a concentration camp because he cares about the Japanese Americans that were interned. And quite frankly, I don't think he thinks they have the right to be here now. He wants that to downplay what the concentration camps in Europe were.
And lost their property. And there was some effort in the 80s to be like, oh, we're so sorry. And also, who really cares? Imperial Japan was bad. But these people weren't actually subjects of Imperial Japan. They were American citizens.
Right. But the fear was that they were loyal to them in the same way that you talk about fucking Jews in Israel, you dipshit. Like, if this asshole had his way, we would be interning Jews in the country because they have more of a loyalty to Israel, and Israel is trying to coup our government and drag us into a war in the Middle East. How is it fucking different? And secondly, there's no fucking way this guy wouldn't have a teensy weensy boner for treating the Japanese the exact same way. He would do. What about Tucker Carlson's argument about Jews and their alliance with, their allegiance to Israel versus the U.S., even as American citizens, as Jewish Americans? This asshole believes they have a bigger allegiance to Israel, period, full stop. And if he could arrange for an internment camp until such time as Israel was no longer, quote unquote, in control of our fucking government, he absolutely fucking would. It's a joke. It's absurd.
And they were thrown into concentration camps with their families and no one really said anything?
Lots of people said shit. They were just outnumbered because the threat at the time and because of Pearl Harbor and all kinds of other stuff made everybody very nervous. And so, again, don't pretend that they just rounded people up. By the way, they put Chinese and Filipinos in there that they didn't believe were Chinese or Filipino. Like, some people, they didn't believe that they weren't Japanese, so they put them in there.
I mean, it's complicated. It's complicated. That's not complicated, actually. That's totally wrong.
It's pretty complicated when you're at war with that country. And especially in the fact that, again, this asshole thinks exactly like the people who intern Japanese American citizens in camps about Jews right now. Period. If you asked him, do they have more of an allegiance to Bibi Netanyahu and the Israeli government than they do to the United States, he'd say absolutely. Do you think that Israel is a material threat to the country and is leading us in this thing, and that the AIPAC lobby and all the Jews in the country are all part of this thing with Shabbat and all these other organizations that he thinks he's fucking outing, that they should be, like rounded up or kept an eye on or not allowed to speak their piece in public until such time as he deems us safe from Israeli influence. And again, all this is about is protecting Donald Trump from his own fucking decisions.
You can't treat American citizens that way if you're the U.S. government, ever. And yet, Roosevelt was able to do it because it was 1942 and the war wasn't looking good.
The war wasn't looking good? Sorry, we're on the losing side of the war in 1942? And so he was just saving face by rounding up Japanese Americans? To what? So for clicks and likes? What the fuck are you talking about?
And that's the other thing to remember.
And by the way, when he says thing to remember, he's implying that this is actually a piece of information, that it's a valuable piece of information that exists already, instead of just making shit up.
That as wars get tougher, say if you commit ground troops and find yourself stuck in a place and can't get out, it's happened many, many times. As things get tougher and leaders become less popular and people become more enraged and discouraged and sad and distracted, governments can...
Sorry, distracted is part of that?
...assume powers unimaginable in peacetime.
But enough about the Patriot Act, I guess. You do realize habeas corpus hasn't been suspended since the Civil War. Like, once Abraham Lincoln did it, it didn't just stay on.
Even more dramatically than they did during the COVID epidemic.
They didn't during the COVID epidemic. They didn't. You can't, nobody's stopping you from going to a fucking restaurant or going to church or going to fucking, going to a fucking mall. There was not a control matrix. We don't have a social credit score system. There's no vaccine passports. You can go to fucking concerts. You could fly anywhere without them. What the fuck are you talking about? Battening down the hatches during a hurricane is not government fucking control. And saying, Jesus Christ, a hurricane is coming. I should probably get the fuck out of here. And I might want to put some plywood on my windows before I leave so that my belongings aren't blown out the fucking screen door. Is not the government luring you into a control matrix that you'll never be free of, you paranoid prick.
That can happen.
No, it can't. It didn't happen. We do not live under a fucking envelope of control caused by COVID, you dumb motherfucker. We don't. We do not.
And it may be starting to happen. Speaking from myself, I've been threatened with more FBI investigations in the last month than during the entire Biden administration. So,
what do you mean? Bigger than zero?
Maybe that's an indicator of something. 2 more than during the
So you've been threatened with 2?
Entire Biden administration, which I criticized every single day for its duration.
Of course. For doing, for what? Not doing all the things you're bitching about Trump doing right now?
So there's that.
Yes, there's that. You're an asshole. You're a complete sucker, and you'll desperately scramble for any reason to give Donald Trump a pass on his own fucking decisions.
I like wood.
Son of a bitch.
Deeper and longer.
But here's one pretty specific example, a piece of tape that should tell you what to be on guard against.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Finally, something something to worry about. Something material and realistic that we need to worry about. Here, go for it.
And that's at the local level, not the...
At the local level?
Level of federal law enforcement, but...
Why the fuck do I care if it's not on the federal side? Who gives a shit?
Like your local sheriff.
No, not like my local sheriff. Like somebody's local sheriff.
Assuming powers that no man short of God possesses, and certainly no one in the United States.
What do you mean? The ability to shoot someone and they die?
Possesses. In flat, obvious contradiction to our founding documents, to the Bill of Rights, this sheriff, Sheriff Bouchard from Michigan, has decided that he's going to arrest and imprison people who make memes mocking him. This is real from last Friday. Watch.
Okay, hold on real quick. All right, before we look at this, I would like to inform myself on Sheriff Bouchard, Michigan. Let's there's something about the Okay, so the cop this is the story. The police officer is just using godlike powers to arrest someone for speech. Hold on, let's do this.
I give you this by way of example.
Okay, sheriff provides update a week after synagogue attack. After, and it's obviously not pre-crime, after synagogue attack.
Some pond scum felt empowered and emboldened enough to put this picture of me up to try to threaten and intimidate me, which of course he didn't do because I signed up for this. And by the way, the person that did this said a bunch of terrible things, not just against me, but against a lot of groups and individuals, who, by the way, was arrested today in Wisconsin. My point is...
Sorry. Was arrested today in Wisconsin. You don't say. So the Michigan sheriff, is that the godlike power he's taken? Is a Michigan sheriff is now arresting people in Wisconsin. Okay.
Is this though? If this person is emboldened and empowered enough or feels safe enough to do this for me, what does he do to a kid? What does he do to a Jewish family walking down the street?
Well, he didn't do anything.
Well, actually, an anti-Semitic post targeting Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard, depicting him as the character of an Orthodox Jewish man. Meanwhile, the person behind its creation is accused of some serious crimes targeting women. This is the actual story from Oakland County, Michigan. What they're saying, a mocking meme showing Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard as an Orthodox Jewish man was showcased by Bouchard. I give you away the example. He said this part. Okay, this week the meme became a battle cry for the First Amendment on social media after Bouchard said the man who posted it was arrested. Jarring commentary attacking the sheriff circulated by millions on X, formerly known as Shitter. Even a local ammunition company, Phoenix, hopped on board printing bags of ammo. Free speech is non-negotiable. Bouchard clarified the man wasn't arrested for the meme. He used it as an example of rhetoric, which is protected. Dig deeper. The 45-year-old Michigan man who made the post was actually wanted on 2 warrants for felony stalking, allegedly terrorizing 2 women for at least a year. He allegedly threatened to kill them and eat one of their corpses, even sending photos of a stockpile of weapons through thousands of emails and hundreds of phone calls, which is a direct material threat. Fox 2 was told he was arrested by U.S. Marshals and is expected to be arraigned in Livingston County, where the charges stem from. He threatened to murder and cannibalize women, Tucker. That's why he was arrested. He wasn't arrested because of a meme. He could say whatever the fuck he wants until he starts threatening somebody's life. Now, real quick, let's look at Tucker and his response. And let me tell you something. Tucker Carlson fucking knows this. Tucker Carlson fucking knows that the guy was arrested for threatening women, that he would kill them and eat them. He knows this.
A Jewish family walking down the street.
Well, he didn't do anything. He made an ugly meme. But the sheriff's not intimidated. I signed up for this. I knew the risks of the job when I became your sheriff. This guy's like some former Republican politician in the state of Michigan. I knew the risks. I signed up for this. Someone made a funny meme about you or an ugly meme about you. It's a meme. It's an image on the internet that was on Instagram, not on the battlefield. You faced no physical risk. You just admitted that.
Yeah, his point is that he doesn't feel physically intimidated, but if he's going to do this against other people, they might feel afraid and terrorized by this kind of person, especially because that person was just arrested for threatening two women, stalking them, and threatening to kill and eat them.
And you had the guy arrested in
No, he didn't.
Another state?
No, he did not. This is a fucking lie. What did I just show you? Was this guy arrested for the meme or anything related to it? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And Tucker Carlson knows this.
He's in jail?
He's in jail for threatening. Again, probably you don't think that's a crime.
How is this not leading to mass protests? Why did they?
Because he's in jail for threatening to Dahmer a couple of women. Sending them pictures of the guns he's going to use to do it.
Not shut your sheriff's department down. Where's the Department of Justice? Where's the Civil Rights?
The Department of Justice sent the U.S. Marshals to get this fucking guy because he did it across borders. They're on board. U.S. Marshals went and got this motherfucker. The sheriff did not.
Vision.
This is a perfect example of everything Tucker Carlson is about. This clip probably single-handedly explains this dipshit better than anything else. An abject liar, a dude who will play both sides of the fence just to make some money, and also we have been talking about him as a nepo baby, basically, as a being born with a silver spoon up his ass. And again, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, for a very long time. But post Fox, there's no reason to believe that he hasn't burned through whatever part of the fortune was his own. And technically speaking, I think it was his stepmom's fortune, not his actual fortune, not his actual mother, his actual father. So the idea that he can't be paid by a foreign power to do all kinds of fucking tumultuous like shit stirring like this is completely reasonable. The idea that he doesn't need any money at all, then why would you have sponsors on your fucking show? Unless you're just a greedy son of a bitch. Or why wouldn't you just sell your own stuff? He may have started as a nepo baby. He certainly grew up that way, but that doesn't mean he's kept his stuff. Why would any of us believe that this asshole has any brains whatsoever for business or any of this, or that in divorces or other stuff, he hasn't burned through it? He wouldn't be the first guy to burn through $30 million. So the assumption that he's like, they got nothing on him or they got nothing to blackmail him with or bribe him with is silly on its face. He could absolutely be blackmailed and he absolutely could be bribed. Even if it's just money he wants more of. There are plenty of people who have more money than they could ever spend who are still bribed to do awful shit.
Are you allowed to just arrest people who make fun of you?
No, and no one did. Although Trump tries.
Oh, it's so ugly. It's anti-Semitism. Okay, well, it's racism. You're mocking the vaccine. It's all the same.
Yeah, you're right. It's all the same. None of that shit ever happened. No one was arrested for mocking the vaccine. Nobody was arrested for, getting upset, because a meme upset them or scared them. Nobody. Threats, pretending to be a doctor, giving medical advice without a license, that'll get you in some fucking trouble, as it should. Trying to sell medical devices or pharmaceuticals or medicines without a license, that'll get you in trouble, no matter what side of it, with or without a fucking pandemic.
These are all pretexts that we take literally because we're dumb.
Yes, Tucker. You're dumb.
Dumb, 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 dumb.
Fuck me.
And no one wants to be an anti-Semite or a racist or deny science, whatever they tell you your crime is.
Also, those aren't crimes. Those are ethical and moral failings.
Actual crime is always the same. It's mocking and impeding the authoritarian impulses of the people in charge.
Yeah, again, you're talking about what Trump wants, and here's hoping he never gets it.
It's making fun of the sheriff, which is exactly what this criminal did.
Nope, it's exactly not what this criminal did in terms of getting arrested. They did it, but it had nothing to do with their arrest. You fucking chimp.
But the sheriff's okay tonight. He's going to be all right. He signed up for this. The rest of us did not sign up for this.
Also, this is in the wake of a synagogue attack. There was an attack on a synagogue, specifically, in that district. And so what he was pointing out was that people doing this kind of like hate posting and shit posting about him was aimed at him, but the rest of the community doesn't, they don't get to carry a gun every day necessarily, or they don't, have police that will show up at their house at, or run a patrol 24 hours if they're being currently threatened as a city official. Doesn't work that way. Couldn't possibly do it. So they have a reason to be afraid. If this person's willing to do memes and be threatening about the sheriff, imagine what he's willing to do to the average citizen. That's always been the thing. That's always been an idea of like, if you're willing to kill a cop, you're much more likely to kill an average citizen, because you're definitely going to get the death penalty immediately if you kill a cop because of who it represents and the fact that you're willing to engage in such violence in the community. That's why.
This is illegal?
It's not illegal. Not at all. It's a fucking cartoon.
Under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution? It's also totally incompatible with what it is to live in this country.
Yes. I suppose so is lying so obviously and pathetically on your dipshit little show. I'm starting at this point to think that you weren't threatened at all during the Biden administration.
You get to say what you think. There is no legal category of hate speech.
No, it's a category after the fact that has to do with sentencing, because if you killed somebody because you don't like them, specifically, the chances of you carrying out that same hatred on somebody else afterwards is debatable. But if you killed somebody for being black or Jewish or white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, specifically, or gay or straight or whatever, if you killed them categorically, everybody else in that category is threatened by your animosity. And therefore, if you're willing to carry out violence towards that group, you're probably willing to keep doing it because it's about the group, not the individual. And once the individual is dead, you've got another target and another target and another target and another target. So your sentencing should reflect that, because your reasons for doing it, your motive, is more malleable. It's why we give serial killers more time than we give somebody who just shot somebody in a fucking robbery gone wrong.
There's only speech the people in charge hate. So this guy should be the subject of a federal investigation like in about 1 minute after the
Yeah, that didn't happen because everybody, 1 minute after you said this, everybody's like, you're a fucking dumbass.
It hits the internet. Don't think he has been. Let's hope he...
But also, can I just say, does nobody who watches that dipshit show just go, really? That's all you got to do. With Tucker Carlson's show, here's what I recommend. If you actually watch that shit, when he's talking, go, really? It's not much. And you don't even have to take the first source you see. Really? That's it. It's amazing that Tucker and Trump don't get along as much as you'd think they would, because they're both the same kind of liar. Exaggeration based on victimhood that gives them authority and makes them look like a victim/truth seeker in the middle of just shoveling bullshit into people's ears. I'm going to let you go, and so you guys can join Tara, and some of you may have already. I will see you guys tomorrow for the radio show. I will be doing it from Chicago, and then I'm going to the No Kings rally, and then I'm flying right back to take care of my girl. I love you guys. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I'll see you later on. And this one definitely goes out to Tucker. Jesus Christ. Oh, and Candace. And Bongholio. And Greg Kelly.
The screen glows bright with a crooked smile. Words spill out. All venom, no style. Promises made, they rot in the air. A handshake, a lie, a blank, cold stare.
Hey everybody, tell Tara Devlin I said hi and we love her, and thumbs up from the Sparklers.